Hello and hello in the name of Jesus. How are you doing? It's your girl, Grand K. I'm coming in the name of the Lord. Are you good? It's Saturday. On Saturdays, I don't work out. I try not to work at all, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard because there's always something on my mind. So I just need to get it out. I hope you're good. I hope you're well. This likely will be the only piece of the day. Anywho and anyhow, I have a story to tell, and I hope you've got some cocoa or chocolate or your hot beverage of choice. Even though I don't have one, I should have one. It is so miserable outside. It's dark. It's like, ugh, it's been raining. What is this? And there was a park at 10 a.m. I tried to wake up like super early so that I can like get my hours in. I've been struggling to sleep. And then there was a park at 10, so I slept until like the park came back. Really don't like that I have to do that, but that's just life. Anyway, so I hope you're good in the hood. Ooh, I think I like it better that way. Ooh, I think I like it better that way. I have stories. A story, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 7, maybe 8, maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe 28 stories. But I've got stories to tell you. I am literally being haunted by the ghost of whatever my ex-boyfriend sent me. Ex-boyfriend, you know, the witch. Listen. So, if I break out into song, it's only because I'm trying to euphemize an otherwise very gory, dingy story. There should be like peals of thunder in the background and lightning strikes and a sound that goes along the lines of ooh, because it's a horror story. It's like the Candyman. But I'ma get this one out of the way, because I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna conquer. So when I was taking a shower, can you tell I'm clean? Can you tell that I'm clean? If you can't, whatever. It must be the brown. It looks like dirt. Okay, listen. Alright? I don't even know where to start. Where shall I start? Okay, at this particular point, about 5 days ago. About 5 days ago, lying below me, I just felt like doing that. Okay, about 5 days ago, I had a dream. I was locked outside your house. I had a dream. I was running or something, and you came running out. And in this dream, I was looking dead into more dream. And right inside that whole dream, I was like, ah, what nonsense is this? I don't like it. Every time I have a dream, I break out into that song, so forgive me, but I'll get straight to the dream. The Lord leads me, He guides me through dreams, and when I get them, I am often kind of irritated at first, like annoyed, antsy, but then I get over it, because I realize that He's guiding me, He's showing me what in the world is going on, so I'm gonna go on right ahead and tell you a little something of a story in this dream. In this dream, let's just kind of put that out there. My ex-boyfriend, whoa. Yo, you know when you don't love a person anymore. I don't want to use the H word. Yeah. Like, you know when you take a person from extreme love, hey, like it's tender, to just, ew, like, you know when you find someone just gross, like, vomit vibes, yeah, I'm gonna puke, yeah, that's my ex. I don't like him, like, at all. Like, I really don't like him. I have a very strong aversion to him, and, I don't want to use the H word because there's no room for that in the kingdom of heaven, you know what I mean? But I really don't like him, and I will tell you why. Because what under heaven he is and what he did started when we were together, and I cannot stomach that it keeps on following, literally, predictably. It happens so predictably. It happened so predictably that it is obvious that he did it. That he's still in operation, and I therefore gotta be with him again. Over and over and over again, I gotta be with him. But also predictably, I always walk away. I always walk away because predictably I don't fall for that. It's rubbish. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there. Putting it out there. That ain't my kind of thing, my kind of story, my kind of vibe. So predictably, it looks as if though I am going to be dealing with the same thing over and over again, but I have a theory. It's a theory, except maybe I think it is the gospel story that wherever I'm dealing with your Christian person, they should not be predictably falling for this. Oh, but how this predictable monster has made me hate him. I used it the word I was running away from. Yeah. Deja vu. Can I really? Deja vu. Can I really? Deja vu. I try. Deja vu. Right? I know deja vu. Take it away. Make it like David or take it to you. Take it. I don't want it to you. Take it. You can have it to you. Take it. I said have it to you. Take your deja vu. But I'm living in a deja vu land and it's a nightmare. On Elm Street like Freddy Krueger. Stop. I want to sleep, dude. Don't you see? I need my beauty rest. I've got bags under my eyes because of Freddy Krueger. I got bags under my eyes because Freddy won't leave me alone. It's a nightmare on Elm Street. I have a god. Pimples on my face because I'm stressed because Freddy won't let me sleep. Freddy, I want to sleep. Freddy, I want to sleep. Freddy, I want to sleep. Freddy, will you let me sleep? This is not Elm Street, it's South Africa. Somewhere on Mountain No. Freddy, I want to sleep. Why, Freddy, won't you just let me sleep? It's so uncomfortable. No one wants to stay awake forever, Freddy. I just want to sleep. I just want to sleep. All I want to do is sleep. But Freddy's like, I'm like, can a citizen vibes match? I belong to Jesus. So, Freddy, I shall tell you once, no more again, twice or 35 times. Get the stapling in the name of Jesus, or else. And Freddy's like, try me. And I was like, Freddy, these kind of demons come out with fasting and prayer. Some come out with fasting and prayer. Some of these demons come out with fasting and prayer. So if Freddy's like, oh, not gonna sleep, I'm like, Freddy, I'm beautiful. I want to stay beautiful. I'm a woman and I need my beauty sleep. So I guess we're gonna go on a 21-day fast again because you are stupid. You're a demon. And you are following me around because that guy that I really don't like. I really don't like him. Let's not use big words. He's still following me around. It's been 11 years, man. Yeah. Leave me alone, Freddy Krueger. I'm gonna go bust a cap in your knee. I'm sorry, no, we're done. Some of these demons come out with fasting and prayer. And recent witchcraft. I'm the only one ever. Let's just get to the point. That's what happens when I get all frustrated and anxious. I'll burp. These things go down. Okay. So Freddy Krueger, some of these demons come out with fasting and prayer, right? And Freddy is like arrogant. He's pompous. He's like, I'm gonna scare you in the night, and you're gonna chill in Elm Street, and you're gonna sleep, and you're gonna get pimples, and you get bags under your eyes, and you're gonna keep on hating this guy that really shouldn't even be thinking about because he's like old news. The Lord has given me power to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means harm me. That's what I did. Last time I checked. Last time I checked! and given that I'm seated in heavenly places with a man Christ Jesus, I'm loftier than you. Hello, you're arrogant. Freddy, you're arrogant. What you gotta say, Freddy? Yeah, come up, I'm talking. So, I come from a 7-day fast, and that needs to stop. So, it stopped last night, yesterday. Yeah, that was my last day. Today I ate muesli. Can you tell? Do I have oatmeal written all over my face? I had breakfast. But it's only because I'm transitioning to a 21-day fast. I did say that I would continue with one. Yesterday, I spoke about how I'm going to enter into another fast. So I'm taking like a weekend to just kind of like regroup and like re-energize myself and find myself in another planet. And then start from Monday, a 21-day fast, the Daniel, the 3-week, right? I don't know, because I need to uproot some stuff. Like, I don't know, like whatever. Like just pray about it. Pray about it. Whoop, na 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 na. Whoop, na na, make me wanna do get down, to get ready to do Freddy Krueger, do and then like God, and then there's bombs in the spirit realm, and Freddy Krueger's like, oh, I thought I would never die, and I'm like, this time around you messed with a Christian. This time around you messed with a saint. And this time around you messed with a child of God. And children of God scare you more than you scare them. Are you shaking just yet until you tremble faster than me, Freddy? Because demons tremble in the presence of Emmanuel, and yet Freddy is out here trying to act like I don't make him tremble. I'm gonna rescue me! I want you out my life, come on Freddy! I want you! Goodbye! You gonna leave, I'm gonna rescue me! I'm a fast Freddy, I'm gonna get rid of you! I'm about to handle a brother. I'm gonna handle a demon. I'm gonna handle an entity. I'm gonna handle a principality. I'm gonna handle sunshine. You gonna know what time it is, that's just saying, hey. What's it about? You're gonna know. Freddy, you don't get to chill, you don't get to hang in my life. You don't get to chill out in a hammock and swing left to right, Freddy. Oh, you will leave. You will leave. That was me, like swatting you in the middle of my hands. Ugh. Freddy, that's you. I'm tired, but I am not as tired as I could be. So really, I got energy for 21 more days. Hey, rescue me. I want Freddy out of my life. Lord, please hear me. I need you. There is Freddy making me think about dead animals from the past, like some dude. Jay, Wandlula, come and gone. But he's still lingering about in the night like Freddy on Elm Street. You, Freddy on Elm Street. You, lo, Freddy on Elm Street, Aaron. So when he's on my flames. So now that we're done describing Freddy, what? Freddy done took my hair out of its place. Freddy, that's unacceptable. Don't nobody touch a woman's hair. Don't you know? Don't you know? Freddy, you ought to know that a woman's hair don't get touched. What's wrong with you? Freddy have no manners. He does not even know not to touch a hairstyle when it's a high bun. A high hairstyle. It could be a coconut on the head. But Freddy doesn't care. He be touching my hair. And I'm like, Freddy, we gonna take this to the grass. We about to take this to the grass. Roll up some sleeve, get me some Vaseline. You're getting in the way of what I'm feeling, Freddy. You're getting in my way, getting in the way of what I'm feeling. A Freddy Krueger sister girl. I know you don't understand, but you're gonna have to understand. I'm in Christ now. What you had is gone. I think it's sweet. I think it's stronger than any lie you can tell on me. Christ knows my soul. And that's the part. Your roots are dug up, so you might as well give up. But if you don't want to, you can't handle the truth. I'ma show you some flames and then splatter some Vaseline on your face so you can roll around in the mat and come out looking like a donut, Freddy. You're getting in the way of what I'm feeling. You're getting in my way. And you mess with my hairstyle, so Freddy, we're gonna get in the grass real dirty, cockpit, like Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Get over mantua. I told you the other day, I don't want to be fighting lady. I don't want to be mantua. I don't want to have that ancestral story. Like, I don't want my great-grandkids getting called Fight Mantua, the one who loves to fight. But I'm a fight, because you're getting in my way. Anyway, So let's go on right ahead to tell the story. I spent a little bit of a minute explaining to you that I'm about to fast for another 21 days because I have some principality that's been lodged literally for way too freaking long in my life, and it keeps on re-energizing with each new person that rocks up. Like every new person, listen, we gonna have some problems. I tell you not. No, we're gonna discuss this, and then when we are done discussing, we are going to discuss again. And when we are finished discussing, maybe we'll discuss extra tomorrow. But for now, we are still discussing. So please let me discuss, because if you don't want me discussing, you're disgusting. Listen, Freddy Krueger. Freddy! I don't like my eggs. I don't. And I'm too. And I'm sorry, I need to go back to English. I keep forgetting that my audience does not know my language. Listen, you guys. I hate living here. I need to get out. I don't like my family anymore. I used to like them, not anymore. I don't like anything anymore. I used to like it, but I don't anymore. So frankly, if I don't like anything, I need to be able to move on, right? I need to be able to get out, right? Yeah, like if you don't like a guy anymore, you need to be able to dump him. If you don't like a man anymore, you need to be able to be like, scoot, cadaddle, bah. Like you need to be able to like vroom, 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 cashoo, leave some exhaust fumes, like plumes of them in his face with like him being left with some soot on his cheeks. You need to be able to get out of a situation you don't want to be in anymore. You should not have to be stranded with people that are toxic. You should not have to be stranded with individuals that really have no business being in your life anymore. But I've been stranded with them for 8 years going on 10. An entire decade. I'm living with people I don't like. I don't like them. And I am haunted by Freddy Krueger. I'm gonna get out of this. I am going to get out of this, and when I do, people are going to know that I've been wanting to leave. Been wanting to. Like, you don't get to strand me in toxic relationships. You don't get to make me settle for friends I don't like. You don't get to make me marry a man I don't respect. You do not get to make me sit out a situation I didn't sign up for. Witches are megalomaniacal. Do you understand? They make you settle for toxicity that frankly is irresponsible. They make you drive drunk, and so because you're inebriated, you become generally irresponsible with society at large. You hit children on the school playground because you fell asleep at the wheel. That is what witches make people do. If they convert people into like child molesters, child abusers, they convert people into irresponsibles on the job. They make people not pitch at work on Mondays. They make individuals abandon their children to death. So, I'm going to get out. And I'm going to fight for my ability to get out. I am going to finally be able to move to an environment where I can talk my leisure without freaking out that somebody's going to interrupt me because they hate my ministry. I will not settle for people who have broken me so badly that them sticking around in my life is frankly just the bane of my existence. It just hurts to be around them all the time. They find an excuse to just like literally break every bone in my body. I need to leave toxic people. But Freddy Krueger, my ex-boyfriend, who I can't stand, has made me sit and live with people I have become really averse to. And the Lord says in his word, that if a man's ways is pleasing to the Lord, he will make his enemies even to live at peace with them. These people are so disruptive to my cause, the general thing that I am. They're so demonically possessed. They are so oppressive that they don't even fit within that scripture. Like, I can't even live at peace with them. I'm not even like not Daniel. Well, it could be Daniel in Babylon, but what I wanted to say was Joseph in Egypt. I am not even dealing with a circumstance where I've got like a Joseph in Egypt where you can live in Potiphar's household because the guy likes you enough to exalt you to head slave. You can have really good relationships with your fellow inmates in prison because they've given you some kind of head honcho status in prison. Like, he was able to live comfortably. I am not comfortable, like, even in the slightest. It's like I'm perpetually afflicted with Potiphar's wife, like, over and over again on a loop, like, every day. Gwang, 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 gwang. Potiphar's wife, like, a person that just won't get off my neck, off my case. I have things hidden from me. I live like a 5-year-old, even though I'm a 37-year-old woman, and they have no respect for my adulthood. No honor at all. I'm living in a country I can't stand. And the person who has subjugated me to the tyranny of this futile life where I am being forced to settle is my ex. Like I said earlier. I did. I vocalized it in the worst way. I said that, predictably, I reacted a particular way to the first stunt of this nature that he pulled, where he was the party in question that was toxic that I had to walk away from. And so I've never, ever, ever gotten accustomed to just sitting out a person that started out alright and then next thing just go all awry. It's never happened. So basically, I just keep on getting hurt. I keep on hurting people and getting hurt. I keep on dumping. I keep on walking away. I keep on literally leaving exhaust fumes, like plumes off them in people's faces, leaving them with soot. They keep on falling into the same daggone trap. And I'm like, I'm sorry, am I going to have a life perpetually? Turn 50, 60, 70, like 90, whatever. Just continuously dumping people. So, Ella May, that artist in the, no, she's not from the United States, but she's from the UK, I believe, has a song called X. Is it Ella May or Kiana lady? I don't know. One of them ladies, right? Her song is I don't want to be your ex. We're way too good at being friends. Can we still? Yeah, no. I keep hearing that song like on a loop, and I've been hearing it literally for years on end on a loop. I don't want to be your ex because my freaking nasty ex-boyfriend has made me the kind of woman that keeps on singing that to every man that comes into my life. They predictably mess up in literally the exact same way. And so because they do, before I can even be a girlfriend, before I can even be a wife, not wife, sorry, but fiance, before we can even start courting, I'm be telling this person, I don't want to be your ex, because I am aware of a predictable way of being that guys do. Like, I've been single for 11 years. Precisely because I have gone on before I can even agree to be any man's woman and told them, I don't want to be your ex, by laying out questions responsibly, so tabling also what it is that I want in a relationship and being like, can you fulfill this, and can you answer these questions in a way that I frankly feel like I can be comfortable to be with you. And they always fail that test. That little questionnaire, that little multiple choice question, they always fail it with negative marking. They even get like minus 27%, never mind 0. They always fail it. And so before I can even get into a relationship, and so therefore one day be an ex-girlfriend of yet another guy, my goodness, or an ex, not wife, I would never get to a point of marrying a guy that frustrates the crap out of me, but fiance, like, I am predictably, constantly, like, I have been single for 11 years only because every guy that has ever tried to pursue me in this time has failed that questionnaire. Are my desires or my recommendations too lofty? No. What I'm expecting is so freaking basic. Believe it or not, I'm not high maintenance. I literally am not that random filthy ex that I can't stand. In and of himself knows that I'm not high maintenance. He was a poor little deadbeat call center agent when I met him. So therefore, I am not a high maintenance woman. I just need basic things to be intact. And when these then are not intact, it's like, okay, so I must just take whatever. Like a flagrantly rude, megalomaniacal, you are going to obey me, worship me guy? Are you serious? Like, I just want basic reciprocity, like really, at a minimum. And I don't even expect you to be Superman, superhero, Wolverine, like X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman. Like, I'm not even trying to have this guy have superpowers. It's just basic understanding of how to treat another human being. Not even so much one that is a woman of a romantic interest, but another human being. I'm literally expecting to just be treated as a person. And they all treat me, thanks to the mistreatment of my person, so very predictably, guys. Literally every guy. So how many of them can I count? I've been single 11 years, but I will tell you how many guys have tried to have a holla at me in this time. Let me just think from first time. There was one that I did date. I dated him for like 2 months. After having like tabled this questionnaire, he failed so badly that I dumped him after like that 2 months. And after him, this dude that I dated for 2 months, after him I was like, I'm not going. I literally started singing that song, I don't want to be your ex. He's my ex-boyfriend. Like, I've only ever dated one guy as a Christian, and that's the only one that gets to be my ex. He's the only one that I can be like, ex-boyfriend, yeah. Well, but I actually did date him. We were together. We like, yeah, he was proper, like, you know, one of those, I love you, babe. Hey, how are you doing, baby? My pumpkin. Like, you know, that kind of terminology. Yeah, one that was officially that. Only one in 11 years. In 11 years. Because the rest, it's not that ain't nobody be trying to holla at a sister, no. The rest predictably just broke and shattered the living crap out of me. Because they grew some weird fangs. Like, I don't know, it was like, it's like they were mutating, like on the spot, you know? Like, I was watching them and they just morphed, like metamorphosis. Like, you know how like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, like something like that, but like a reverse metamorphosis where he goes from being a butterfly to a caterpillar. Like, yeah, like shocked me. Like, you know, like grab a hand and put it on my mouth. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no. And I mean, really, like, I've been in Christ for 11 years, so all of these guys, you must understand that I considered were all Christian, or at least they professed Christ. They profess Christ. I would never have considered a Muslim or an atheist or somebody that's not in Jesus. Like, it's not what I'm about. Like, really, I wasn't trying to get unequally yoked. So let me just like think about them. How many they were in the season of persecution. There literally was, there was only one because of my persecution, but there was quite a few. There was quite a few when I was still employed. Because there I was ready to, like, you know, mingle, because I believed, like, in the perfect position to get married. Ever since being persecuted, I've been deliberately holding back from dating. I've been wanting to get my life back together again before I can get into courtship or whatever, because, like, I'm going through too much. I don't want to be rescued like a Cinderella. So there's only been, in this, like, season, let's say 2. I was going to say 1, but let's say 2, right? There's been 2. And the rest of them were, like, about 8 years ago, pretty much, and going back. I was in the faith for 3 years before I got ransacked. So for 3 years, how many potentials were there? There was the one guy. There was that one that I did date, and then whatever. After him, I was like, I don't wanna be your ex. One way to get it. There was some dude, Wako Bible study, and then there was a dude, was 17. It was 17, and then there was another one. should I say he counts? Like, he messed up so fast, so quickly that I'm tempted to say that he doesn't count. About the 4 guys. In that 3-year period, there were like 4 guys, right? That rocked up, and in persecution, 2, another 2, so 6. Total of 6 men that could have become my husband. And in persecution, I deliberately disregarded anybody that was trying to holla at me because of the fact that I was persecuted, right? So the one dude that I did consider, it was only because he appeared really exceptional and he was kind of sweet. And he appeared to be saying the right things and doing it just like it. And then, yeah, anyway. So 6 guys, né? The number would have been likely much higher if I never lost my career, right? If I never lost anything, if I was like single for like 11 years, the number would have likely been much higher. But persecution has made me deliberately be like, no, I am not even trying to look at anybody, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, sharp. Fine, sharp, sharp, sharp. Oh, goodness Christ. Like, like the way that I'm so upset at black men. It didn't just come around because I was lying one day at night and then I got this like bad nightmare about black men. I was like, I hate you so much right now. I did not just wake up like that. Like, they predictably did the same thing. It's like PTSD. Literally, like from being ransacked over and over and over again. It's like a rape victim. You know those rape victim women who get raped by one man and then when they go and cry to the police, they then get raped by the police officer. When then they run away from the police station en route to going home, they then get gang raped by like women who have that kind of bad fortune. When it comes to rape, I feel that way, but instead of it being rape that does that to me, it's every sweeter or prospect for romance, for a husband that ever comes into my life. They predictably act in the same way. And so I have got post-traumatic stress where every man now that I meet, it to me, especially once I have my skin tone, my black men basically, I have got this like post-traumatic stress inside me where I like literally expect them to be predictable. And so I've got this big fat chunky questionnaire. Lo and behold, they always fail it. That's why when I write with as much conviction as I write about black men and how they are. There was one time when I wrote a blog recently one of these days, like perhaps like maybe just under 2 weeks ago, I wrote about how it is that if at all a man rocks up in a Christian woman's life and his intentions are wicked or he has not yet been sanctified, like he's not okay, like his things are like he's just like there's something wrong and he's going to hurt you in the future, if you take it to the Lord and you pray and you're like, Father, please protect me if something is bad for me, God is going to make that man royally mess up. Like royally, he's going to make that man mess up so that it will become clear as day, stark with showers and bolts of lightning and thunder and everything, that this is not the right guy. And if you still insist on going out like that anyway, you have thrown yourself into the lion's den. Frankly, as Daniel, you have thrown yourself into molten lava. You have put yourself in a very compromised position because the Lord has given you everything you need in order to know that that's not the guy. Okay, God makes men mess up, especially if you go to him and you beg him to protect you against the very things that you fear. And I stick to my guns because the Lord has, in all of these six cases, right? All of them, he made them mess up in a way that I was just like, no, I'm sorry. There are things I can take in my life, but this is not it. And the way I move on, within like a month, all of them, like literally all of them, I'm over them like they never even came into my space. God gives me grace to conquer, to move on, to forget about them. Even though during the time when I was very strongly, considering them, my feelings were so strong that you would imagine it would take some time, like to conquer this, like grieve and cry and moan and roll around in bed for a season. But it literally takes like just under a month. It's never exceeded a month. How long it would take, like thinking about them every day, waking up in the morning every day with like your heart just broken, or somebody's not here anymore, I'm not hearing his voice anymore, he's not calling anymore, we're not talking anymore, we're not emailing anymore, like gone. It's like, and to a point where I don't even feel the bitterness of not being with them. Of like the anger, like it's not there. It gets lifted, and that is predictably exactly the same way that it happened even when I left my ex. So let's go on right ahead to tell the story that I've taken forever, long winding. I can be that, I know. In creating this foundation about my ex, this guy that I can't stand him. I hate him. I hate to use the word hate, but I feel as if what I feel inside my heart for him is just this deep hatred. I am struggling with forgiveness because to this day, I think he's still busy remanufacturing the same sorcery again. Allow me to explain what happened in this relationship, and allow me, hopefully, to demotivate people that are into witchcraft, thinking that they can get anything at all that they want through it. I'm desirous of like discontinuing them from that stunt, from stopping, because they literally never get what they want. What they rather get is a lot of resistance on the part of the person that they keep on afflicting. And they end up dark, like really dark, and with just like a perpetual insistence within them to get this thing done. They end up like really dark, and that's just how ominous this Oki has become. So my difficulty with forgiveness, or with like stopping to feel some kind of heavy way about this guy, is because it's like he's still haunting me. It's like he's still haunting my life. It's like whatever his witchcraft is still haunting me. And while I trust and I believe that the right man will conquer what my ex did. Every single time there is a mishap, like a failed trial, a failed test on the part of a guy, I get freshly very angry at him. I get freshly very angry, and I look at God and I'm like, fine, I get that you helped me to conquer in like just a month or whatever, to get over guys really quickly, but I don't like to have that hope even in the slightest. Like, I don't want to believe that maybe this might be it, and then only for me to just get really hurt. Like, really hurt. I feel actual pain in the run up to getting completely over this person. And for me, it's like, I don't want to be a yo-yo. So how about you just like prevent anyone from coming into my space at all? I have asked him every single time. I've actually gone on and asked God, I don't even want to be pursued by a man ever again, unless it's my husband. I like ever, like, unless it's like thoroughly, and it's like I never got heard. Like, that prayer has been completely ignored, because they have, ever since the first time I prayed that prayer, been like maybe four of the I told you, out of the six, maybe four of them were like repeat offenses. And even though I prayed to God and I was like, don't let one come, because I don't like feeling the pain of severing something, starting something, and then it just like does not work out. Like, romance hurts when it doesn't work, guys. Like, I bet you can agree. It really hurts. Like, it's got power to kind of like make you a zombie. Like, you know, you can't operate properly for the day, and you're antsy. Maybe if you've got a pet, you're a little bit abusive to the pet. It's like when things don't work in romance, it can really dampen every facet of life. Every other area of life can fall by the wayside because of that. So whether or not it takes me a meager month to overcome, it's a month that frankly I could be doing so much more other than thinking about some dude that failed a test that predictably every guy just keeps failing. And it's not even a very tough test. It doesn't even require studying. It's more like an aptitude test, more like a psychological assessment test, more than it is the kind of test where you have to go and study content in order to regurgitate it on paper. And so the failing of it for me is just like, can I just not have to go through this? I don't want to have, like, my biggest like lament back in the day before I was saved was, I don't want to sleep with new guys. Like, I'm tired. Like, really, I don't want to continue to add to my body count. So when I was in a relationship, for me, I was like always hoping this is it. It's going to lead to marriage. In Christ now, I can never add to my body count because I don't believe in sex before marriage. We wait, right? We don't fornicate. But there can still be an adding in a sense, and that you just keep dating and breaking up, dating and breaking up, dating and breaking up. Like boyfriends. I don't want 10 other ex-boyfriends. I don't even want them to get to a point of being my ex. I've got one ex already in Christ. When I was in Christ, like one dude that I was with. And ever since then, I made a resolution, like Jonathan Edwards, that I don't want anybody to be an ex. So I came up with an aptitude test, an assessment, and literally 6 guys have failed it. And I'm glad that it's only been 6, because if I was not thrown into obscurity, it might have been much larger, that number. I don't like the feelings that proceed, that follow failure to spark up a romance. It's very uncomfortable, and it's going to make me antsy in the future to even let anybody at all try with me. I was like, Father, I don't want to have PTSD, like I proper don't. And yet I feel like a bad luck woman that keeps getting raped after her first ever rape experience. Like, I can't do this. This like random fool that I can't stand. I would not even be in this position if I did not keep seeing him. He's like a haunting, a proper haunting. Like, you go to bed at night and you get the same nightmare over and over and over and over again. It's like, I need to be delivered from him. That is why I'm struggling. And as a Christian, that puts me on thin ice. As a Christian, that puts me really on hot water, because you know, if you don't forgive, you won't be forgiven. I would have long ago moved on from this person without even holding them very much a grudge in my heart against them, if I did not have to perpetually actually have to live with him, like deal with him in every new guy I consider. Not so much date, because I don't date. I question, I assess, and then figure out if I can allow something to happen. I know, like proper. So I don't get called babe, sweetie, my love, darling, none of that stuff. I don't date unless somebody has passed my aptitude test. And let me tell you what happened. The first ever experience of this nature was with this very ex-boyfriend of mine, the very last man I was ever with before coming to Jesus. And how it is that it was because of coming to Jesus that I was finally freed from the insensitivity of that little psychopathic, sociopathic, like freaking maniacal witch man. Allow me to just describe what happened at the end of our relationship. I was unsaved. I was unregenerate. I was not yet a daughter of the living God. I was, however, considering the things of Jesus very strongly, because I had been mildly, like mildly is the perfect word. I had been ever so mildly evangelized at a party, and ever since hearing something that was said to me at this party by this girl at this party, it just lingered on me for like ever and a day. So I started researching the things of God, and conviction, the seeds were planted, and so conviction grew and grew and grew as time progressed. in light of what it is that this woman had said at this party that I was at. And so I was in a relationship where I was fornicating. I was in a relationship that was not, of course, pleasing to God. There were so many issues in and of myself. My lifestyle was not pleasing. And I was starting to get convicted, like going to clubs and stuff. I got saved at the age of 26 and a half. So I was still like in the nightlife scene and whatnot. Still a young woman type thing that was doing stuff like that. I'm uncomfortable sitting this way. Yeah, so when I would go out partying and all that jazz, I would feel uneasy. Like I would feel like there's something very dark and demonic in this environment, and that I was not happy. I was not happy. I would abscond. I would leave clubs. My friends would wonder, where's the girl? Where'd she go? Type thing. I was already getting into that, so you could imagine then that sex was tough for me to do as well, because I was sexually active. I was dating this guy, and I was like, I don't know. And there was a time when I literally withheld from him sex for a month, and he was like, but why? I was like, because Jesus is not comfortable with this, or because God says so. I think I would say because God says so. He wasn't forceful or anything like that, but he was like, but we've been doing it all along. He just had this like mindset that, okay, whatever, right? Type establishment thing. That is how things were. But I never had any solid conviction, so I was essentially like a lukewarm Christian. I wasn't even really, look, I was en route to getting saved. Yeah, I was en route to getting saved, but I didn't have sufficient enough conviction to entirely turn my life over 180 degrees and give it to God. I just had conviction of sin. And it was in the tail end of this particular relationship. And it was during this relationship, so my ex and I were on and off. We kept on breaking up and making up, breaking up, making up. And this was because of things that I was very frustrated by. But one thing that my ex-boyfriend did not suffer from was pride. My ex never suffered from pride. I mean, like, the guy had his problems. He had his issues. Everybody has their own issues. But pride is not something that he struggled with. Every single time I would break up with him, for right reason, I was always right. When I broke up with him, it's either because he... Oh, goodness, like, I don't want to describe the whole relationship. I just want to describe the tail end. But, you know, when you meet a guy and you are at a certain level, each of you, and you're weaker than him and he's strong and he's like your like pillar, your anchor and everything, and then you fall in love and you start to be really ride or die to him as a woman, and because you're as loving and as ride or die as you are and also as in love with him as you are, he then starts to relax and does not police weight. I would always cry about stuff like that, and I would cry for so long and so hard that I'd be like, look, I tried, I waited, I'm leaving. And every single time I would leave, he'd be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna get my act together, look, I understand, I hear you. He would beg, he would fight to get me back, he would never let me go. And that was enough for me to be like, okay, look, if you will work on this, then we can talk, all right? We can talk. Like, believe it or not, I've never actually left my boyfriend, my ex, because he cheated. Like, there was a time when I found out that he cheated, and I forgave him. I always left because I struggled to see a future where I was working really hard in a relationship and he was just doing nothing. He literally just rocked up, he pitched, and that's it. And I was the one dragging the whole situation through the mud, and that was more exhausting to me, believe it or not, than even finding out that I was cheated on. So I would often leave and be like determined to not go back, because you relax, you chill, you literally get like pampered by the prospect that I love you and I'm not going anywhere, to a point of even the things that I used to do very easily in the beginning of the relationship, they didn't come to him naturally anymore. I was like, what then do I have left if even the best foot forward that you put in the beginning is gone? And over and above it, I am carrying us as a relationship. I'm a woman. I want to be a woman. I feel like a woman. Oh. I did that blog the other day where I spoke about that. I just want to be a woman. And he would be like, I get it, I understand, I get it. Like, I was always singing him that LMA song, 24 seconds, babe, you better not stop. You got 24 seconds, can you beat the shot clock? What you waiting almost, daddy? I ain't got that much time. You seem anxious, you seem adamant, yeah. Wondering why I was always singing him that song. And just like the guy in that very same song, you know how there's a section where she's like, 5 years of dating, the time I've been waiting, what the you waiting for? No. And then the guy's like, I know. Right? Yeah, my ex was always like that. Like, he never ever gave me a, you are asking too much, you want too much. He never had the arrogance in him to say, you're not gonna control me, woman. You're not going to tell me what to do, woman. He agreed that he needed to get his act together. And that is what I think gave me hope that this thing could work. Because I was not warring with someone who didn't think there was nothing broken. I was warring with someone who knew he had to work on something, but he just didn't quite get around fast enough to doing it. And that was so frustrating for me. And I was growing so fast in and of myself, my career, my everything. And he was just like tracking back behind me. He was a tail behind me. And I wanted him to grow. I wanted my man to be strong and big. Like, I was getting strong and big. I wanted him to be bigger than me. Because that's what makes women comfortable. And he was slow about that, really, very slow about that. And I would literally every time we broke up, it was about that. Okay, well, not every time though. At other times we broke up for different reasons, but for the majority of the time, that was why we broke up. And it was just like this on and off thing that we kept on doing. And every time we would be separated during the breakup season, I was in so much pain, and I knew I wanted to be with him, but I was so frustrated by him, by stuff that he was doing. And our breakups never lasted longer than like a week. Like it was hard to stay apart, right? There was a lot of love, but also a lot of just like disregard for needs, my needs in particular. I was serving entirely of him. Literally, I bent over backwards. Everything I did, you know that song, you know it's true. Everything I do it for you. Everything I did it for my boyfriend. I didn't do it for my mama. I didn't do it for myself. I didn't do it for my friends. I didn't do it for my job. I did everything for him. Even when oh my goodness, guys, like even when I would go to the mall to buy a new dress, I would do it for him. I would wonder what would he think. I would like everything, every purchase I made, every lifestyle choice I made. If I decided to go to the gym, it was about him. And this neighbor, we were together for 5 years, and this never stopped. It never stopped. Like I never stopped working like a dog for him. You know it's true. Everything I do it for you. I was so dedicated to that guy. You, that's my ride or die. Everything I did was for him. Everything, everything, everything. And to work that hard on a relationship, to have somebody just rock up and pitch, like my boyfriend just used to pitch. Like I remember one time when I asked him, why do you love me? His response was, it's because of the way that you love me. Indeed, you know it's true. Everything I do it for you. Ever since coming to Christ, like proper, I believe that a man should love a woman more than she loves him, because when those tables appear to be turned, when a guy starts to gauge that you love him more than he loves you, he goes crazy. He had a cousin, this boyfriend of mine, that had a girlfriend that frankly was not in his league, but she was just besotted with him, and his cousin, who was a ravenous misogynist, used to always say to my boyfriend, girlfriend, let's say her name was Palila. She loves me too much. Like he would say that my girl Palila loves me too much. Like, you know, when a guy's that arrogant, and he would say this. My boyfriend and I used to talk about everything, so he would tell me like, yeah, do you know? Let's say his name was Jack. Jack says that Palila loves him too much, and I'd be like, why do you say that? And he would explain to me how it is that Jack said this, and I would be like, oh my goodness, whoa, Jack is a jerk, and I really hope that you don't think like Jack. He's like, no, babe, like what you and I have is special, it's different, blah blah. I always used to believe in birds of a feather flock together. Those should have been warning signs flailed in my nose. Then my ex was similar to his boy, that like believing that his woman Palila loves him like more than he loves her. Perhaps maybe my boyfriend used to respond to his cousin when he was speaking these like insanities. Perhaps maybe his response was, because he once said that to me. He once said to me one time, when we were driving somewhere, that, hey baby, yo, that basically means, yo babe, you really love me, hey? And I listened to that. To me, I was like, my response to him was, yeah. But it was yeah, like I was scratching my head on some, is that a validation? Is that a compliment? Is that him saying he's happy that I love him? Or is that him saying you're whipped? Like I could not put my finger on whether or not I was low-key just dissed by my man, or if he was appreciative. He was like, hey baby, I'm lying, here's one. Yeah, I guess I do. Hey, I'm flames. Talk about a brother showing sister flames. Flames. Anyway, yeah, no, I'm going. It's like Tukamolo vibes, right? I got shown some flames by this guy. So I was basically pulling the relationship in a bunch. I was the one dragging this cart, this wheelbarrow. And he was in it. He was in the wheelbarrow that I was pushing around. He was just like mareu. In this country, in my language, there is something called mareu. Mareu is the tantamount of, like, you know, when you're pushing somebody in a like a baby in a pram, and the feeling of being lulled to sleep that they feel. Or sometimes when somebody's driving a car and you fall asleep because, like, you know, you're really enjoying the ride. That's mareu. Like when you enjoy somebody pushing you along, pulling you along. Mareu. Yeah. My boyfriend in the relationship, he was in a wheelbarrow and I was pushing him around, and he was just like falling asleep like a baby as I did for 5 years. Thank God for redemption, and thank God for conquering basically witchcraft. That's the reason I struggled to leave, because every single time I would break up with him, I was so resolved, I was so determined. It was just so final inside me. I knew this is what I wanted. That the pull to get back in there, I couldn't understand it. For me, it was like, but this is bad for me. This is, I know this is not right. Like, even when we got back together, literally within a day, I'd be like, but I don't want to be here. That's what witchcraft does. Like, it'll bring you into a situation that you know you gotta get out of. You can tell you need to leave, but there's something just holding you hostage to that circumstance. Anyway, whatever. So this dude, he was in my real vibes in the relationship. I was basically carrying everything. He stopped pulling his weight. In the beginning, he was pretty good about that, but then he just like dropped the ball, and I was the one that continued to, everything I do it for you. But it was just me. And he was content with the fact that, hey baby, sure. Yeah, Mr. Content with that. And so every time I would leave him then, because I remember I was always about that dumping life. Like I would get tired. Like we'd get back together, and then 3 months would progress and no no change would happen. And then after 3 months, we were together for 5 years. We broke up every 3 to 4 months in those 5 year period, in that 5 year period. But there was never a long breakup, never, like ever. A week was too long. A week was too long. He would let me breathe. He would let me inhale and exhale, right? Because he knew that on the day when I was throwing my toys out the car dumping, that I was not about to talk to him. So he would literally give me like 3 to 4 days to calm down. And then the calls would start coming in, the text messages would trickle in, and I just like I couldn't, like I would melt. I would like, my heart would be so, like I would miss him so, like I would, yeah, you know. Then I would be like, look, you know what you need to do. I don't even have to explain anything to you. Get your act together. And I would get back together, and same thing. 3 months again, mareu, crivai, like, whew, wheelbarrow. And I've got my chicken inside it, just like rolling around the car seat here in these streets on the gravel road. And every time we hit a stone, he like enjoys the fact that it's even bumpy. Like, mareu, mareu. I'm sorry, no. Did that for 5 years, and I was gonna do it for 10. I was gonna marry a man that was gonna make me threaten divorce probably 10 times inside a marriage. But then Jesus rescued me. Christ saved me. I got born again. That party that I went to, it was a friend that I reconciled with on Facebook, and it was her 25th birthday. She was a year younger than all of us, even though we were all in the same grade. So she was turning 25. Remember, I told you I got saved at the age of 26. And at this friend's 25th birthday, I spoke with a friend. Well, she wasn't really a friend, it was an acquaintance, right? We were in the same high school, so her friend, I knew her from high school, even though we were not tight in high school. And so, you know, you have to like make small talk at parties. And I made small talk with this friend of my friend, and she's the one that sort of kind of talked to me about Jesus. But how she talked to me, I was basically broken up with my boyfriend because we kept breaking up, right? And I went and I asked this girl, because remember, I didn't want to add to my body count. I didn't want to sleep with a new guy. And I asked this girl, so I mean, like, how long should a woman wait to have sex again in a new relationship in order to make sure that the guy doesn't leave or whatever? And this girl responded by saying marriage, and I was like, no way, I want to test the goods, blah blah blah, all that jazz. I was not content. And then she was like, well, then in that case, then you're going to be dealing with soul ties. And if you want to get married, by the time you want to get married, you're not going to be able to get married, because then you're going to go to God and ask for a husband, and the devil is going to be like, she can't get a husband because she's already married to so and so and so, because she's already one flesh with them. Basically, she gave me some little education on soul ties. And when she said that, I was like, but I want to get married. I want to get married. I want children. I told you I've been pretty since I was 23. So at this point, I'm 26. Right? But I want children. I want to get married. And it worried me so much, like those seeds that she planted at the party worried me so much that I went and I googled it when I got home. I googled it in the office. I listened to what people had to say on YouTube about it, and blah blah blah. And that's how I got slowly but surely evangelized. Like, everybody that I listened to online and every article I read online about soul ties had something to say about Jesus. And so slowly but surely I got given the gospel that way. That is how I got saved, right? That's how I ultimately eventually embraced the Lord Jesus Christ. But but after that party, right? I'm getting distracted again. This is just the story of my life. After that party, I predictably got back together with him. I told you we could never stay away from each other for more than a week. So I got back together with a guy that I thought, this time I'm done. I wanted to be done so badly that I was even investigating questions along the lines of, how long must I wait for the next relationship, right? We got back together, and that's when I started to feel uncomfortable about sex. I started to feel uncomfortable about parties, because I was reading up on this topic a lot, but the Holy Spirit was convicting me of sin, and my life was not on par with what the Spirit of God was convicting me of. And it just got really uncomfortable, and I started to like not want to have sex and all that jazz. Ultimately, I got saved, but I'm gonna get to that just now. This boyfriend of mine, I told you, he was not one to be proud. He was definitely not proud. Every time I would break up with him, he would be like, who is it? I'm coming. Are you going? Okay, 1 minute. Sorry, I had to let Lissetti's friend out. I just realized that she's actually living here now. Anyway, whatever. Not really complaining, but all the more reason I need to get out. There's literally too many people up in this joint. Let's just continue to finish talking about this story. I don't know where I last finished off, but I was talking about how it is that I believe, look, I'll just eventually find my bearings, about how it is that I I had conviction of sin, and so things were getting uncomfortable. But I also said, yes, my boyfriend, that's where I was at, about pride, like that he wasn't proud. Every time we'd break up, every time I would like be like, I'm sorry, I can't, like I've been trying to correct things, I've been trying to wait for you, but you're not even doing anything to do, you're moving at a snail's pace. And look, if you were moving at a snail's pace, I think I'd even be okay. You're not moving at all. Like there's no hope for me. Like I'm gonna be this big woman one day, with this like small little man, and it's just, I'm like, you started out when we first started, you were huge in comparison to me, and then now like I've caught up and I'm so gargantuan, and I can't, right? So like I said, he was always like, yes, I know, and he would be like, okay, I'll like work on it, I'll get my act together, blah blah blah. That's what my boyfriend at the time would say. And so pride was never something that he wore as a necklace. He did not. I would be lying if I accused him of being proud. I would. He, every time I would leave, was humble enough to realize what he had. He was like, I can't lose this. Like I can't lose this woman. I love her. She's been really ride or die. Plus she stuck with me when I had nothing. She agreed to be with me when she got strong, and when she found me and some other like women, like there's this girl, if anything, I believe it's the woman he ended up married to, that he wanted quite heavily, and he was pursuing, and she liked him back, she wanted him back, but she was shallow, she was like a gold digger. And so because he had nothing, because he was as broke as he was this like call center agent, to her it was like, but you're not gonna fulfill my needs, you're not gonna give me what I need. So she literally passed him up. Not because she didn't have feelings for him, not because she didn't like him, not because there was no reciprocity, but because, what do you call this? But because he didn't have enough money. And so he had like memory of such things, of like women, and that was not the only woman that had done that to him. Other of his exes, I mean, some of the stories that he told me, horror stories, frankly, how some other, like this one girl cheated on him with a celebrity was it a club or a concert? It was either a club or a concert, literally. She got flirted with by the celebrity that was performing at that concert, and she like stood him up or abandoned him that same night to go and be the one night stand of this celebrity, like because he didn't have enough. This, she was his girlfriend, and she got hit on in a club or at a concert by the star of the night, and she left with him. Like those are the things that used to happen to my ex because of his material weakness, financial weakness. And so when I came into his life, I was this pleasantly surprising thing that like was on some, look, we'll work on it together, we'll like strive together, we'll, you know, never cheated on him, never let my eye rove or wonder about other men. I was not money thirsty and money hungry. I was not easily pursued by random dudes because of, you know, the way guys like come at you with like things. I was basically just this like breath of fresh air that rocked up in his life. And so every single time I would try and get out, he remembered stuff like that on some, where am I going to find somebody else that's going to be such a great girl and also be happy to be patient with me? He took me being patient too far, basically. Let's just put that out there. Like, he took it too far. He just thought that he could chill, he could relax. That's why he used to say things like, baby, yeah, I guess I do, but, you know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. So that was this ex of mine. He therefore never, ever, whenever I would walk out, be on some whatever go, he never hit me with that. Like, he never slapped me with, go. Every time we would fight, he would never ever hit me with whatever. I never got that. And I think that's also one of the strongest reasons why I kept going back whenever he asked me to come back, because he was humble. He was humble enough to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and I get where you're coming from. He never ever gave me that reverse psychology rubbish. Like, you know the thing that I hate that men do, where they act like they don't love you even though they do? Where they say A when they mean C, where they don't even look in your face when they actually want to be staring longingly into your eyes. I had issues and challenges of that nature in my historical relationships and in just black men around generally in my ecosystem until I met this guy. I stuck by him because he was real. He was real. Like, he literally chilled with what he was feeling. He admitted truth. He did not feel embarrassed to be in love with me. He did not feel embarrassed to be with me instead of his friends. He was happy to like ditch his boys for me. You know that Carrie Hilson song, never thought I'd fall for you as hard as I did. Somewhere along the way, Neo says, used to be commander-in-chief with my pimp flag flying high, and until I met this pretty little miss, like dropped me out the sky or whatnot. Like, literally a dude that went out being like really regarding and caring a whole bunch about street cred with his friends, and then he met me, and it was like, whatever, I'm sorry, I'm a cowboy. Like, that's what I loved about him. That's what made me stay with him. It was the longest relationship I've ever had. It made me stay with him because it was rare to find that in among black men. They're full of reverse psychology. They're full of stunts. They give them boys too much clout and street cred. They are happy to hurt their women on behalf of their friends, even though they really, really love them. So this guy was happy to be real with me. He confessed how strongly he felt. He was happy to be with me perpetually. He was content with me. He was at ease. It's like he was swinging in a hammock, very relaxed in the relationship. And so every time I threatened to get out, he gave me like 5 seconds to chill, to relax, to breathe, and then he predictably came back with like all different kinds of shows of affection. He predictably came back and he said, look, I'm sorry. And even when I was actively breaking up with him, he would be like, he wouldn't be like, whatever. Like, there was never attitude from him. We never had one of those, oh, you go, no, you go, throwing like bananas and potatoes at each other. It was always, no, please, like, let's talk about this. No need to like be so rash. Like, yeah. But then I'd be like, I'm gone. And then he would be like, and then it would come. He'd be like chilling wherever he's at for like 5 days, 3 days. And then he would like trickle in back again after I've calmed down, and I would predictably take him back. Right? That's how it used to be. So pride, he had his issues. He had many of them, one of which was laziness. He's extremely lazy, but he was not proud. He was very humble. He was not proud. He was happy to admit what he had, and that for me went a long way. My love language is words of affirmation and validate. Like, if a guy just validates me and makes me feel comfortable and safe, I'm not going anywhere. And that's why he was able to continue to reel me back in. Yeah. Dude, he did this for 5 years straight. Until literally the last few months of our relationship. If I tell you, a woman that struggled to leave a man for 5 years finally prospered to get out because of one thing that changed, that is what happened with me. He shot himself in the foot. All along throughout our relationship, he had been using witchcraft to hold on to me, blah, blah, blah. That's why I couldn't leave. But the last thing that he did was as a result of influence, yes, with sorcery, but also friends. Also some friend of his that he started hanging out a lot with. So he had this friend that had this girlfriend that he had also been with for years, like even longer than us. They started dating when they were in university. So they were going on like 7, 8, 10 years together type thing, right? And that relationship was having problems and challenges. And he would come and be like, hey, my friend, let's say his friend's name was Jojo. Hey, Jojo's got like issues with his girl, like they busy fighting, and it's looking like this time it's really serious, right? They might actually break up type thing, like for permanent. I was like, but Jojo and Joe Jess have been together for so long, like how in the world do they break up? Like literally they're supposed to get married, like they might as well, like, you know. Anyway, so this Jojo guy was in and out of my boyfriend's life, like, you know, one of those friends that your boy's tight with them for like 2 years in your 5-year relationship, and then they don't go estranged, but they just kind of stop contacting each other so much, and then they reconcile after another 3 years. It was our friend. In the beginning of our relationship, I always used to see him around parties. We were always all together, and then it just went dry for a season, and then they reunited. After reuniting, I think the friend had gone crazy. Maybe he had gotten taught witchcraft. He had become a different man. Like something, he was just not the guy that I used. I used to really like him, and then I stopped liking him because he influenced my boyfriend really horribly. It's like he got into something. He obviously got introduced into something really ominous, really dark, really nefarious, very satanic, and he induced my boyfriend into it. Jojo, oh sorry, I thought there was something crawling on me. It was my thingamabobby. Jojo, did something to his girlfriend that really irritated me, and I made that clear to my boyfriend at the time that I can't believe that Jojo did that, like how dare he, right? So his girlfriend and him were fighting over whatever, and they had also had, you know, challenges in their relationship where every so often they break up for like a couple of months and get back together. They were together for like almost a decade or something, and I knew the girlfriend and she was good people's, whatever, you know, we like middies know each other. Anyway, Jojo and his girl had a falling out. That relationship was kind of toxic towards the end, except I don't even think it actually ended. Where it is that the girlfriend got so fed up with Jojo that she started to like actively look for another man. And she actually dated another guy during the time when she and Jojo had broken up, to basically tell Jojo that, look, it really is over this time around. Right? And Jojo, why it is that the girlfriend this time around even allowed herself to date another guy was because Jojo was just like my boyfriend. Was never one into pride. Whenever his girl would want to walk away, he'd be like, look, let's work on it, Joe Jess. I love you. You're my woman. And like, we've been together for like ever. We're supposed to get married. No, you can't leave. But this time around, Jojo was like, go, go. I remember my ex-boyfriend coming to me and telling me the story. He was like, hey, Batong Jojo and Joe Jess are broken up. And he told Joe Jess to go. He didn't beg her this time around. He said that we are slangisa, basically that she's making herself crazy. And that he's not going to keep on groveling and begging after her anymore, that she can go and do what she wants. And Joe Jess was so brokenhearted that this time around, instead of waiting for her man to come around and apologize, she just went on right ahead and gave herself to another guy. Literally, the thing that made Joe Jess decide to finally let another man pursue her was the fact that Jojo basically spat on her when she got upset with him and was like, I'm tired, I'm leaving. He was like, Hamba, nsha. Like, he literally sent her off, like, whatever, you ain't jack to me. For the first time, he did that in their relationship. Joe Jess went on to date for a couple of months some other dude. But you know, when you've been with somebody for like 10 years and then there's like a new person, you're going to be tempted to just look back and wonder, if this new dude pulls a stunt, if you're still also very much in love with the old dude, you're going to feel like, I can't do this, I don't want to be here, I want to be somewhere else. That was Jojo, right? Joe Jess, sorry. So what did Jojo do? Jojo, after telling Joe Jess, Hamba, go, leave, I don't care, went and deliberately sought out another woman to impregnate. Imagine having a high school sweetheart. In this case, it was a university sweetheart. The two of y'all were expected to have your first baby each with each other. You were supposed to get married. And then you break up, and in a matter of like a month, 2 months tops, he has impregnated deliberately. Some new karma. He literally went looking for a baby mama. Like, you know, revenge at that level. Like, spite at that level. He was not looking for somebody to love. He was not looking for somebody to make a wife. He was not actually serious about letting Jojo go. Joe Jess, sorry. He just wanted to punish Joe Jess, knowing that he was not ready to let Joe Jess go. He was not about to quit on that love, but he was going to punish her with something so massive as a baby. Guys, if I tell you the pain of even like a threat of just the thought of it, of the person that you've been with for very long, that you love, having a baby with another woman. Like, my ex-boyfriend and I, in the beginning of our relationship, we fell in love very fast. And after like 3 months of our relationship had been into itself, there was a pregnancy scare that came up. Like, some ex of his that apparently allegedly was pregnant, and she didn't know at the time. Even though I was not in his life at the time when he conceived the baby with his ex, or at least the baby. It was later discovered to be a scare, right? Even though I was not there. The pain, because when I met him, he didn't have a child. And I didn't have a kid. And I was looking forward to us having our first child together one day in the future, once we get around to doing that. Once we get married. And for that dream of mine to be taken away, like, for me to understand that some other woman is going to give my man a first child, like, it hurt me so badly, even though that was an ex, that I wanted to get out of this. Like, I wanted to leave. I have never been dealt a bad blow, therefore, within a relationship where a man that you are with first goes and makes a baby with another woman before the two of you can have your first child. That I've never had. So I could only imagine the pain that Joe Jess must have felt during that break that they had. So she went and allowed herself to be with another man because Jojo said go. And then she was like, fine, I mean, if you're going to kick me out like that, then I'm going to let another man love me. And just when she was busy missing him, she then got to hear in the grapevine, that some other woman was newly pregnant with his child. And Jojo did not even beg Joe Jess to come back. How she found out, like I said, it was through the grapevine rumors. She called him, and she was like, I heard that you've made a girl pregnant. Geez, we've been broken up like, 3 months? What in the world? And Jojo was like, yeah, I mean, you've got a boyfriend, so I get to have a child. According to my ex-boyfriend, Jojo deliberately impregnated a woman he didn't even love, just to get, like, you know, that kind of level of punishment. Joe Jess did not know that this was a planned hit on her. To her, it was, my man was drunk with sorrow, so he went and slept with a woman that he mistakenly impregnated. Do you know how Joe Jess reacted? She begged him. She groveled. She was like, no, please, don't leave me. I love you. I want to be with you. I will be a stepmom to your new coming baby. I will take it in my stride. When my ex told me, if I tell you, my blood boiled, you know, like literally my blood boiled, especially considering my ex gave me the real deal as to what in the world it is that Jojo did. That Jojo deliberately planned to have a baby with this other woman, so he got what he wanted. Jojo manipulated his girl by impregnating another woman and then putting so much witchcraft on her that she would come back, that when she did finally come back, he felt pompous. He was arrogant. He was like, oh, you want to come back? Okay. And then Jojo went on right ahead to pay damages for the baby coming inside the womb of the other girl, promised her that he'll be a good dad, he'll be there for her, and then got back together with Joe Jess. So basically he went and crushed 2 women. He literally broke 2 women, like killed 2 birds with 1 stone. That level of misogyny. And believe you me if I tell you, this boyfriend of mine, upon observing this behavior on the part of Joe, actually developed a role model. He developed a role model out of Jojo. He looked at Jojo and marveled at what he did. He didn't say it to me in so many words, but I saw it in his actions in the coming weeks. My ex-boyfriend started hanging out a whole bunch with Jojo, and he was so proud. Like, even when he was telling me that Jojo came back, he was like, she came back, she begged him. And for me, I was like, this is not funny, Jojo is the victim here. And my ex was like, yeah, but I mean, Jojo got to, like, you know, have like his bread buttered on both sides, basically. And you could tell that my boyfriend basically admired how it is that Jojo made his girl come back even though he went and impregnated another woman. Basically, a mindset, a Zulu typical mindset. That umfazi uzoyenza whatever, uzongobheya. She's gonna come groveling at my feet. She's gonna do exactly what I want her to do. And I am going to make her jealous with another woman. I am going to make her beg at my feet even though I have been a prolific jerk. My ex-boyfriend admired the deeds of Jojo because he felt like he was dealing with a similar problem in his own relationship. My ex-boyfriend felt, at the time he was my boyfriend, he felt like he's also got a problem with this woman that keeps on dumping him because he won't get his act together. He wanted to just be complacent and chill and take his merry time doing what he needs to do. While my whole life just like flies right by my nose while I'm waiting for this guy to get his act together. And all along he was humble enough to be like, baby, don't leave, please, be patient. Baby, don't leave, please, be patient. I promise I'm going to come around. And Jojo, when Jojo finally made a decision that he's going to stop begging his girl, and then just like walk back, bewitch the crap out of her, and then go and find some other girl that is going to make Jojo just jealous. When then that strategy worked like a well-oiled machine for Jojo, my boyfriend was like, this is what Karabo needs. My boyfriend was like, this is what Karabo needs. He literally looked at what Jojo did and decided that that is my medicine. That is the prescription for the disease that I had. He diagnosed me with the sickness of Jojess and said that the cure is what Jojo did to Jojess to make Jojess finally just humble herself to the fact that, look, you love me, you're not going anywhere, just deal. The dude had already held me hostage with a whole bunch of witchcraft, and Jojo taught him a strategy that first bewitch the crap out of her and then use another woman, impregnate her, or do something, and she will come groveling to you. Don't beg. When she walks, just let her go. And while you're at it, push her out. Blow the wind in her direction. Make her like a tumbleweed and say, Hamba, you're not walking fast enough. If anything, do you want me to pour petrol in your car so you can drive out? First of all, you hold a woman hostage emotionally with witchcraft so she can't leave you. And then when she does try to leave you, you tell her go, knowing that because you've bewitched her, she's going to predictably come back. Has like it, guys. It's so manipulative. It's just this like puppet master with strings, and you know, they're just like controlling a woman. Like, you know you love her, you know you want her, you don't want her to go anywhere, but you also don't want to work, you don't want to beg, you don't want to gravel, you don't want to struggle and strive to make her happy. And so you, because you want to chill, relax, you then control her to basically be a Stepford wife, be at your beck and call, even though you're doing nothing to pull your particular part of the bargain and weight in the relationship. He tried to do that to me, and I promise you, if I was literally at the very same time simultaneously investigating the things of Jesus Christ, I believe I'd be married to my ex today. And I would be married to a man that finally put me in my place, that finally handled me, that finally knew how to not make me dump him so much, and finally knew how to get me to accept him the way that he is. He doesn't want to move, he doesn't want to grow, he doesn't want to do anything. Like, he did not want, if at all he wanted to grow, he wanted to do it at his own pace. He wanted to do things his own way. He wanted to be like Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. He wanted to be Frank Sinatra. That, look, I have goals too, girl. I want to be ambitious. I mean, who wants to end up poor? But goodness, like, you're not going to make me move at more of a kilometer speed. You're not going to make me move at a faster rate than what it is that I want to do. So if I want to take one step a day instead of walking 10 steps to get to where we need to get, that we might strive for goals together, I'm gonna walk one step a day, and you're gonna accept it. You're gonna take it. Even if you keep on soaring in your career in corporate, even if you get stronger, even if you start to become such a gargantuan woman in comparison to me, I will eventually get to where I want to get, and maybe one day you will see what I was doing. You need to just trust me. That is why women, yes, like in men, like if a guy does not display that he can actually honor his end of the bargain by being a man in your relationship. You just need to let go. Once a dude is like super duper slow, even though you're trying to motivate him to move a little bit faster, he's never going to come around. I'm not trying to proliferate you going for a guy that's already perfect. Nobody is. But if a dude displays no intention of growing at the pace that he can because he's lazy, you're never going to get him to do the right thing. All you're doing is risking your future by staying in a relationship where a man is eventually going to go and idolize, make out of a fool a role model that has gone on and experimented successfully with a woman to convert her into a Stepford wife. He looked at the psychological manipulation and spiritual manipulation of the girlfriend of Jojo and imagined that that is what it is that the doctor has ordered for me. You know, I don't like recounting these stories because the emotions just come back all over again. They flood to me and I just get mad all over again. My boyfriend decided to do that with me. And mind you, Jess was also smart like me, an independent woman, career, like all that jazz. So it's not that the woman has to be dumb in order to fall for that stunt. She just needs to be a human being made in the image of God that can be put under the manipulation of witchcraft spells. And so is in dire need of Jesus Christ. Literally, there's no intelligence that can, or wisdom that can rescue a woman from that level of manipulation by a man that is a Satanist in a relationship, and he has held hostage his wife, his girlfriend. He will violate every ounce or core of her being. And she will get to the point where she stops complaining about it. Intelligence is not enough to rescue you women from such satanic men. Only Jesus. The only difference between me and Joe Jess is the fact that I was en route, like literally at the same time that my boyfriend was making a new role model out of a fool. I was convicted by the Holy Spirit of sin. I eventually repented and gave my life to Christ because of something that ultimately created a strong desire in me, or a strong desperation in me, because of how my boyfriend was acting. Like, if you have had a humble man all along, that after acting a fool for a season because you have hope for him coming around, he puts his tail between his legs and he's like, baby, let's talk about this. We're going to fix it. And I'm going to like get right. I'm going to get right. I'm going to fix this. And then he does that. Like, literally, you get used to that for 4 years, and that's why you're still with him. Like, you really have hope that he's going to come around. You are ride or die. You're patient. Because it's him only that you want to be with. And then he takes that away from you. Literally. Takes away the thing that at least was what you were holding on to. Like, this is a man whose other stats were pretty whack. Let's just face it. He wasn't as strong as me financially. He wasn't as strong as me in terms of his general clout, whatever. Like, I was a woman that was looking at the potential of a man to be great. But none of that potential had been realized yet. So he was basically tantamount to, in the eyes of other women, even a loser. I was with a dude that was entirely out of my league. He was out of my league. But I knew what he could be. And so because I saw what he could be, I was like, wait until you see one day. Don't speak too soon. You don't know what this man can be. Me, I know what he can be. And so you sit with him because he has the humility, it appears, to grow. He has the humility to at least acknowledge that he's not right where he needs to be. So therefore, we're going to work together to get there. And that for me was enough. Because at least he has that humility. So when then this dude with already really whack stats, like he is already on thin ice, then takes away the one thing that kept you hopeful, you are then on that day in despair as a woman. You are stranded with a fool. You are stranded with a fool that has no desire to correct anything. You are stranded with a fool that has no desire to become wise. You are stranded with somebody that you are going to one day regret bearing the babies of. You're going to be like his grandmama, never mind his mama, always yelling at him at the porch. You will always be that cantankerous woman that is like a dripping tap on a rainy day, that is always lamenting, moaning, like literally yelling. What is the word that men like to use? Nagging. Barry. You will be his grandmom, never mind his mom. When he takes away the one thing that you could work with, trainability, teachability, and admitting that he has some things he needs to get straight. When he takes that away, and all you're left with is a dude that is complacent in his lethargic state, but you're made to live with it because you're under a spell, you will become Barry. And I said, whoa! Yes, like, when you grab a young, glorious woman and you convert her into that? Angry black women. Like, just an entitlement by our men to want to sit and do nothing, bask in the glory of a much stronger woman. And even though they've got the potential to be kings, refuse to grow into what position they need to grow into. And because they're upset and they're like, you will eventually obey me, they then go and they fetch this, like, these copious amounts of witchcraft spells, employ this, like, ridiculous reverse psychology, all of these psychological mind games, in order to make you eventually settle for a most horrific state as a Stepford wife, where herein lies the great, really independent woman, cooking and cleaning and baking and scraping through life with a man that conquered her. He defeated her. He made her like a fly underneath his finger and finally squashed her because he made her desperate for love. You know that song, India Ari? I am ready for love. Why are you waiting for me? I wanna marry so desperately. I just wanna be your girl. I am ready for love. Make a woman yearn for love so much that she will take whatever scraps you feed her after you finally show her that, look, go, I don't care. When actually you do care. You want her to come back. You want her to make like a tornado, a whirlwind come back and blow you away. You literally want the baddest woman in the game, but for like 10 for the price of one. Less is more. You want a really great girl, but one that's just going to stop complaining that you need to get your act together. Cause her to shut up already about your complacency. Take your 10 years to achieve something that you could have done in like a month because you want to do it your way, Frank Sinatra. Jesus Christ of Nazareth rescued me from that buffoon, but it turns out Freddy Krueger is still in operation today. My ex-boyfriend started to admire this lackluster friend, right? And so our relationship continued and proceeded from there. We didn't fight straight away. And then we encountered yet another circumstance. And I was like, my goodness, dude. Like, yo, I'm not getting any younger. Like, literally, you met me when I was in my early 20s. I'm now headed for my late 20s. I can't deal. Like, what? No, I'm sorry. So I broke up with him. Again, for the same reasons. And, again, that breakup that we had, initially, he wore his humble suit. And he was like, no, babe, but let's talk. And then he gave me time to breathe. And then he came back predictably a few days later. But remember, I was simultaneously convicted of the things of God. So what did I do? I remember chilling in my kitchen. This one friend of mine wanted to use my oven to bake because she was into selling cookies or whatever. And this friend of mine was a professing Christian. She eventually hurt me, but whatever, right? And I remember talking with her, about Jesus and whatnot in my kitchen there as we're chilling. And I was like, friend, I don't really know what to do here in this world. This boyfriend of mine, he's called me up. He's called me. And we're broken up, and I don't know if I should take him back because, I've been struggling with him so badly. And this friend of mine was like, why don't you pray about it? I was like, I mean, I have been praying. I have been thinking about Jesus a lot. Let me see if God hears me. This friend said, why don't you pray about it? And I was like, okay, fine, gotcha, I'm gonna try. And I literally, that same night, after she was gone home, I got down on my knees, I was not used to doing stuff like that because I wasn't saved, I got down on my knees. I was like, God, I didn't even use in the name of Jesus. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know anything. I just prayed generically. I used God. I didn't know that I had to go through the Son of God, right? I got on my knees and did a generic prayer. And I was like, God, this boyfriend of mine, Jumbo Jack. Let me say his name is Jumbo Jack. Lord, Jumbo Jack, I'm not really sure if I should be with him. I don't know if the two of us should stay together. He wants us to get back together, right? Jumbo Jack had called me and we were supposed to meet at Clearwater Mall to talk things out, about the next day or whatever. And I took him to God in prayer, Jumbo Jack. And I was like, Father, I wasn't even like Father. I was praying a generic prayer, the prayer of a person that does not know who to pray to. God does not know God really, so they just pray like, God, if you're real, God this. I was praying like that. I was like, God, Jumbo Jack, he's been in my life for a minute and I've been a little bit confused about him. Please confirm to me if he's the one. I didn't even say husband. I was like, the one. Please confirm to me if Jumbo Jack is the one. And I got off my knees. I mean, whatever. I was not even spirit filled. I didn't have the Holy Spirit. I wasn't saved. But I was en route and God wanted me. And so the Lord will answer your prayer if you're not born again. If you're not filled by the Holy Spirit, He will answer you if you will at some point upon Him showing Himself to you respond to Him. The Lord does not respond to the prayers of the wicked, but He does respond to the prayers of the convicted, even if they don't have the Holy Spirit yet. And I was one of those people. And so He was like, twinkling, cool. Lo and behold, remember I said that if you go to God in prayer and you ask Him about a man as a woman, is this the guy? Is he right for me? If he's not right for me, please protect me. The Lord will make him prolifically embarrass himself, ruin things, hurt his own way. God will make the guy shoot himself in the foot. He will act a flagrant fool. He will not be able to apply the right amount of tact in any given situation so that the signs will be in your face clear like an orchestra playing that no, that's not him. The Lord will make it as voluminous, almost as a lightning strike in the sky that spells out the letters N-O. That's not your man. If you go to him, like try it, test it, try it. And so any woman at all that insists on getting back together with a guy despite getting that lightning strike in the sky that says no, goodness, you had it coming when then you end up with Ike Turner, a man that beats you up, or a dude that's so jealous of his woman that he can't even give her one little compliment. I took it to the Lord in prayer, and the next day I was supposed to meet with him on a date to talk, like, you know, over lunch or whatever at the mall. And thank you, Jesus Christ, that before I could even leave to go to the mall, my friend came back the next day. She was baking. Her oven was all bust or whatever, and she had orders. So she was back in my apartment. And I was like, friend, I did that prayer thing, and I'm going to go meet my man, right, at the mall now. And she was like, all the best, you know, like, cool. Left her with I was about to leave her with my house keys and everything to go bake in my apartment. We ended up spending the whole day together in my apartment while she baked. Because my ex-boyfriend's mother loved me so much because of how much I did a 180 in his life and how much I was so patient with him, how much I was so ride or die to him. She would, like, you know, the kind of mother that would annoy any other woman that comes into the life of a man by continuing to keep the photo frame of the ex-girlfriend in the house. Like, she loved me that much because I was so good for her child. What I believe happened that day was that Jumbo Jack's mom, like, I think Jumbo Jack told his mom and was like, Mom, Garabo and I have broken up. We're going to talk about it. We have a date tomorrow at Clearwater Mall. And then the next day, Jumbo Jack still stayed at home with his mom. And that's the thing. This guy just would not get his act together. I was in my apartment. I was an independent woman thriving. And my ex-boyfriend was 4 years older than me. He was born in 1980. So he was 30. But he was still staying at home. I was ride or die to that guy. Like, I was waiting for that man. I met him when he was 26. 25, 26. And he was still in that position. Both of us were still staying at home when we met, and I got my apartment later on. Anyway, whatever. So because he was still staying at home with his mama had sight of him, access to him, saw him around in the house, right? So he had told his mom the night before, his mom of which was a massive fan of the Karabo, I'm going to go see my girl tomorrow. We're going to talk about this breakup and get back together. And the mom was like, good. You must fight for your woman because she really loved me. Lord have mercy, like this story, my goodness. Okay, cool. The next day, I'm with my friend and she's baking her baked goods. And I'm about to leave my keys with her and everything because she's in my apartment. And then just as I'm about to leave, okay, I'm going home later. Phone call comes in. Caller ID. Boyfriend's mom. I freak out and sometimes my boyfriend dead. Like, why's the mom calling me? Scared. Hi, Ma. Hi, Karabum Tanam Unjan. I'm good, Ma. How are you? Right. Yeah, she was here, there, everywhere, touching. You could tell that, like, she was trying to find something to hold herself so she could explain to me things in a way that are going to make me not go vuss and blow steam and burn my hair. Because her son did this to me. She called me and basically told me, hi, Garabo, Jumbo Jack, he can't come through. I know he's supposed to meet you at Clearwater Mall, but he's a little bit held up by her story could not come together fast enough. She was making an excuse for a kid and I could get it, and I could tell. Like, I asked her, I was like, Ma, where's Jumbo Jack? Like, literally, that was my question. I was like, where's Jumbo Jack? Why isn't Jumbo Jack calling me himself and telling me that he can't make it because his leg is broken? Why isn't Jumbo Jack telling me, can we please reschedule for Sunday because it was a Saturday, or for next week Monday, or I'll come over to your apartment when my leg is healed? Whatever might be the issue. Why isn't Jumbo Jack himself calling me to let me know not to go to the mall? I'm grateful that I didn't find myself at the mall's chill at the restaurant, order a virgin strawberry daiquiri while waiting for him to come. I'm glad, because I was going to get there. I was going to wait, because I'd never been stood up by this guy like that. I would never have even imagined to not even walk into JD's corner and order the daiquiri, because I don't know if this guy's going to pitch. My ex was never into stunts like that. He had his problems, but there are just certain things he didn't do. And standing me up was one of them. He never stood me up until this was the first time. Like, you know, when your stats are whack, but there's something that you do right sometimes, and you then take even that away from me. His mother, I was able to put to it, like, literally, my thoughts were all running in my mind. And I was able to come to a sound conclusion that Jumbo Jack's mom saw him sitting in his bed and was like, Jumbo Jack, you have a date, no Karabo. You have to go and meet your girlfriend so you guys can reconcile. Like, this is your wife. Like, this is a woman that is supposed to be my makoti. And you are sitting here, you know you're wrong, you messed up, And she's trying to like be patient with you. Why are you not bathing? Why are you not getting out of the house? Why are you not getting your butt into, like, he didn't even have a car at the time, so why don't you get taxi fast and furious to make your way to Rodiport to go and see Karabo? The woman is gonna find herself at the mall waiting to eat pizza with you. Order it, and you are not gonna, hey. I think the mom was like, what are you doing? And I believe that what Jumbo Jack did was be like, Mama, this is my relationship. I'll do here what I want. I'm the one here that's dating Karabo, not you. Leave me alone. Funuglala. I think that's what happened. And so the mother was like, my son is crazy right now. He will sober up. He'll wake up and realize what he's doing. But I cannot let this woman leave my son's life because my son is going to struggle to get his life back together again if this woman leaves him. So the mother quickly got on the phone and called me herself and was like, hi, Karabo Njan. Mntanam, no, right? Jumbo Jack, I can't even remember exactly what she said. All I know is that mid-sentence, like while she was busy talking to me, my mind did all of these equations and reached these solutions, these conclusions, that she is probably speaking like this in the kitchen of her house while Jumbo Jack is in his bedroom, refusing to come and see me because he has made a decision. And those thoughts running in my mind, I believe were even inspired by the Holy Spirit of the living God, was understanding from God. Because I was made to remember the story of Jojo and Jojess. I was made to remember how much he prided himself in the glory of Jojess running back to Jojo. In the glory of Jojo running back, having Jojess, run back to him. Just the fantasy of me one day being like, please, Jumbo Jack, I love you. Jumbo Jack. But you and I have been together for so long. How are you going to just let me go, Jumbo Jack? All of those thoughts came to me. And so of course, I wasn't rude to the mom. I was like, okay, ma, thank you. Nyabong. And as soon as I got off the phone, I looked at my friend and I was like, Nganwam, pelileng ang Jumbo Jack, it's over. And my friend was like, spill the tea. Why? Why did you break up? I thought you guys were supposed to reconcile. And I pretty much expanded on what in the world had happened. And my friend was like, yeah, no, that's kind of messed up. And mind you, I had never been called by Jumbo Jack before. By Jumbo Jack's mom to speak on behalf of Jumbo Jack. Like, Jumbo Jack's mom had never negotiated for her son. She never stood in the gap for her son before. This was the first time. That, I think, just speaks of the level of arrogance of Jumbo Jack to a point where his mother felt like she needed to go and fight a fire in the season of his insanity. That was the first time in a 5-year relationship where Jumbo Jack's mom was negotiating for her son. She lied for her son because she thought her son had temporary insanity. But it wasn't temporary because of the way that things would eventually unravel. I know this is a long blog, but I understand I need to get this out of my heart, okay? Jumbo Jack, after speaking with my friend, and my friend was now gone home again, with her baked goods. I didn't even call Jumbo Jack. I was so annoyed. I just sent him an SMS and I dumped him again. I was like, you sent your mom to call me? Okay, you don't want to be with me. It's cool. Bye. It's over. We're not together anymore. I dumped him via SMS, right? Via text message. And, his what do you call this, he didn't respond. Usually when I would break up with him, he would just instantly be like, no, but babe, come on, let's talk, so what's going on, and then give up and give me like 5 days to breathe and come back. He didn't even do that day. Like, he just like, he was here. Nothing. No response. Nothing. No. Why, Karabo? I was sick. I was out of it. That's why my mom had to call you. I was vomiting my tongue, so I couldn't even like use it to talk. That's why my mom had to call you. Okay, you know that my mom usually doesn't call you, so when she does, it's like hectic. Okay, like nothing, no explanation as to why the mom hadn't called me. He's just like, I imagined him like picking up his phone and being like, whatever, uzobuya, she'll be back. I've never felt that level of heartbreak in my life. My boyfriend had done to me the one thing that he never would have ever done to me. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is the beginning of a trend. I broke up with him. He did not try and come back. I low-key wanted him to come back. I still loved him. I wanted him to get his life together. I was with him for 5 years. I wanted us to get married. I didn't want to ever sleep with another guy. I wanted this man to be my husband. Goodness, I wanted him so badly that I remember there was this application on the internet where you can take a photo of your boyfriend and your own photo, put them together and see what your babies would look like. Like, I had gone into that app to see what our newborn would look like. What our kids would look like at like 6, 7, 10, and I'd be like, hey babe, this is what our kids would look like. Like, I'd gone on and literally fed the system with our photos to get stuff like that done. Jumbo Jack, okay. That's how much I was prepared to like abandon all of my desires to be with this man because, you know, I wanted him, I loved him, and I also loved the way that he had loved me. He was humble. He didn't have black man stunts. Black men stun. You're black men, and the reverse psychology, it's like blow my abuti. He didn't have that, and then he started getting that. He became like a typical black man, and I was like, one day progress, no response. I thought that maybe battery was dead. 2 days, no response. 3 days. At this point, my heart, yo, like my heart had been broken before when we broke up, but this time it was really sore. This is a man that is holding me hostage with witchcraft, so I struggle to walk away from him. I am held hostage by demons to him, and now he's not even begging me. Well, after those 5 days had progressed, because I was upset and we'd never broken up for more than a week, I then started to, no, I didn't say anything. Oh goodness, like Jumbo Jack. He's the one. So the way that the two of us were supposed to even end up married, right? Jumbo Jack was, had these plans to start a business. And he took his merry time in getting it registered, blah, blah, blah. What a fish paste. But he wanted the employment equity benefits of a black woman on there. He could have used his sister. He could have used his mom. But he used me because I was going to be his wife. Like, it was just such a done deal that we were going to get married. So he registered his business with me being a silent partner because I was going to be his wife. Like, it was not even a negotiable thing. It was obvious that we were going to get married. Obvious. This guy was not going anywhere. I was like, anyway. After those 5 days I progressed, I get a text message from him. I'm thinking, there they go trickling in. There they go trickling in. The way that he predictably always did to try and apologize instead. What was his text message? Grabo, I would appreciate it if you would look at your email right now. I have sent you something. It's documentation that I would really appreciate if you printed it and signed it to remove you as a silent partner in my business. Like, his business had not taken off or anything like that. It was just some registered business. But it wasn't actually doing anything. He wasn't making money. He wasn't getting contracts. He was yet to even start, like, what is the word? Like, looking for clients, customers, profiling, and all that jazz. Like, he was yet to do anything. It was just this dead thing that I was happy to allow my name to be associated to it. Because we were going to get married. And he removed me from that. Like, what he could have done, if he was really a decent guy, because he had registered this business and it was just dead. He hadn't done any prospecting, any profiling, nothing. He could have just, like, ditched it. Like, that's the thing about a closed corporation. You can just open one online. It's like an online form, and then boom, you have a CC. You can even buy an existing one that's online, right? That's the thing about a closed corporation. It was a closed corporation at the time. So if your one closed corporation does not, like, if like things don't work out for whatever reason, and you are yet to make a single cent from it, you have not gotten clients, no customers, nothing. It's just this, like, by name, you have a plan to start a plan. You could just ditch it and open a new one, even if it has the same name. My ex could have just opened the brand spanking new CC, and this time around, I'm not the partner, silent partner. He could have gone and used his sister, like I said. Sister's not going anywhere. I mean, she's a sister, she's blood, so she's highly unlikely going to dump him. So he could have just gone on and used his sister's name. But instead, he wanted to make me feel like trash. So the tantamount of him impregnating another woman was him removing me off the closed corporation to pretty much say, I'm done with you. I don't care. Hamba. So he didn't impregnate another girl, right? But he did make it loud and clear that you're gone, you want to leave? Bye. I still loved him. Whew. Yo, the pain. I mean, like, I can't even describe to you the pain. The pain that I felt from that text message. It was not an, I'm sorry, let's talk. Let's reconcile, let's reunite, let's see what we can do about this. It was, get out of my life, and frankly, your silly little name is like a bothersome fly on my company's documentation, and I want you to remove it. I want you to sign these documents so as to pretty much relinquish your part in my company. Okay, I was at home when he sent me this. I didn't have access to printers or whatever. So I responded to him on some, I'll say, yeah, he said that, mind you, I need an actual hard copy. So I'm going to come to your place and collect the signed document once you sign it. My response was, I don't want to see your ugly face. I don't want to see you. So what I'm going to do is print it, sign it, and scan it, send it right back to you. And he was like, no, I need an actual physical hard copy. I need, like, a real copy. I need your original signature on there without any printers. I was like, I don't want to see you. He was like, then I can't remove you off this thing. I knew he was being mean because I understand how corporations work. I was an academic, I was a student, a commerce student at Wits University. So therefore I knew that he could just easily just start a new CC. He didn't need to do this to me. He just wanted to wrestle me. So I was like, I don't want to see your face. If you want me to sign off my name from your company, I'm happy to do that, but I don't want to see you. So unless you're happy to pay for a courier to come and collect this thing and give it to you, or unless you, what is this? Unless you're happy to pay for a courier to come and deliver this whole thing to you, I will send it to you via email. I will scan the documentation and send it to you via email. And I know that that was admissible too in court because, like I said, I was a commerce student at Wits University, so I knew how these things work. He just wanted to grate the living daylights out of me. He wanted to come through. Sorry, guys. I need to charge my phone because it's dying right now as I'm busy talking. It's on 10%. Okay. There we go. Phone is charging, so all is good. In the hood here, he knew that, like, I knew that he was basically blowing steam up, you know, parts of my body that we shall not mention here in a Christian ministry. I knew that's what he was doing, and so I gave him no joy at all because I knew that he just wanted to break my heart. He wanted to see me basically steam off, puff of smoke, walk away from me, not beg, not grovel, not basically say, I need you, you're my, like, ride or die, none of that. Like, yeah, he had been trained, educated, taught a horrendous thing by a bad friend, the bad friend of which I bet could not freaking console him when he did finally try to come back because the stunt or the strategy he employed failed him, even though it worked for his friend. Anyway, but let's just move on. If I tell you, and I told him that I will send him a PDF copy after I printed it at work, right? He was like, I told you I need an actual copy. I need an actual copy. Like, and what is wrong with you? My ex had never been that rude. He had never been that rude to me before, ever. It was a first. I'd never seen that side of him. He was so arrogant. He was so pompous. The way that he was speaking to me, he was so condescending. I was like, I don't know this guy. I was so broken by his mistreatment of my person. But nonetheless, I was like, I'm the one here that he's losing. I kept my head above water like a peacock. And I was like, no, I don't want to see you. Don't you dare come near my premises. Don't come to my apartment. I will not allow you to come in. The security guards will pretty much leave you right there at the gate. Don't come to my offices. Don't come to my work. Like, don't come anywhere. He was like, hey, this is my business and I need this signed. So I'm going to come. And guess what he did? He tried to come to my apartment. Indeed, the security guards were like, sorry, so he had to turn back. And then he decided that he's going to patreka me, literally just like close me in on all sides at my business premises where I worked, at MTN. Decided that he's going to go to MTN, and because at MTN I couldn't tell people at the gate, I couldn't tell security at the gate, hey, prevent this guy from coming through, or reception, I would need an affidavit for that to prove that I've got a restraining order, stuff like that, which I didn't have, so I couldn't prevent him from coming through. One day I'm at the work on some, I'm working, I'm chilling, I'm working, I get a call, hello, Karabo, how are you, Karabo? Hey, how are you? Yeah, no, it's Cassandra from reception downstairs. There is a jumping jack. What do they call him? Jumbo jack. There's a jumbo jack here for you at reception. I was like, thanks, Cassandra. I'll be right down. I go downstairs and I was like, I told you not to come to my offices. He's like, look, I just want you to sign this thing. Grab this like yellow envelope and was like, all I want is for you to just sign over there. And you know, that like the stench of attitude that was coming off him, the arrogance, he just carried, there was something in him. It was like almost demonic. It was like, it's almost as if I could smell it. There was something very dark about him, and it was the first time I was seeing him in this state, but it was also the first time I was being treated by him in this way, by jumping, not jumping jack, jumbo jack. What did I call him? Jumbo jack, right? Yeah, no, there was the first time that jumbo jack had ever treated me like this, and I was very disquieted by it. It was very nefarious. It was ominous. It was just dark. Like, he was just oozing something very, very dark. I wasn't saved at the time, but I could feel the demonic as around him. Anyway, whatever. So I was very hurt, and I signed it. And I just like huffed and puffed. When he walked out, you know, like when somebody's walking, like, he might as well have been walking out like that. He was so arrogant. Like, my ex was never arrogant. Like, that was just not something that he carried as a mantle. Like, he had his issues, but never that. He did not have pride. He did not have arrogance. He wasn't pompous. None of that. He might have had laziness as an issue generally, but not that. Not that. Until now. He treated me like, whatever, go. I don't need you. I don't care. I'm gonna go and live a life and start my own thing. Whew, fine, go. He left Jumbo Jack, right? And my heart was just so broken. Oh, I was so hurt. I was like, you're not fighting for us? You're not fighting for us? And for me, the prospect of groveling after him, I was like, but he's wrong. That's just the thing. It wasn't even so much an issue of pride on my part. My lighting conditions, I don't know what's going on now, but I'm unhappy with them all of a sudden. It wasn't even so much an issue of pride on my part. Maybe it's this light. I don't know. Cran cat, please just like, don't disturb me. Oh, you disturbed the back there. Hey. Just walk beyond your merry way, okay? Thank you. Anyway, y'all know. Thanks, Cran cat. It wasn't even a pride on my part on some who leaves all this, who abandons all this. It wasn't even about that. For me, it was about, but you're wrong. You're wrong. You called me, stood me up, got your mom to call me. Not only that, the reason why I left you was for the very same predictable reasons that I always do. You promise and you never deliver. And I am exhausted. So if I went back and groveled and begged a man like that, I didn't cheat on you and then acted like, please, you need me, I don't need you. I didn't give you attitude. I didn't talk down to you. Like, I didn't do anything as a woman that would warrant you being fed up finally as a man. Like literally just getting sick and tired of a woman, for instance, that keeps on slapping you because she trusts that you're not an abuser, so you're not going to slap her back. I did not push you. I did not like throw my toys at the cot. I did not, things that typically really would make anybody tell a man, dude, this woman is not good for you. She's really going to break you. Something bad. Like she doesn't respect you. She doesn't care about your feelings. She is always just like embarrassing you in public. Like she talks to you like you ain't jack. Like this is not the kind of woman you need. She makes you tiny. I was the one beneath his wings. I was so ride or die to him. I was so serving. And I was the one that was, if anything, swatting off all the flies around us. They were always like, oh, well, this guy's not right for you. And I was like, whatever, I don't care. Like, I know what he can be. I believed in him. I believed in him so much. And everything else that everybody else was rejecting about him, I didn't care about it, because for me, it was not so much about the past, but the future that we were trying to build. And I knew what he could do. I understood the potential, like I said. So I did not have this coming. I didn't deserve this. I was not a bad woman that a man was too in love with for his own good. And so therefore, he set out a lot of rubbish for too long, but finally he got fed up. But he treated me that way. He treated me like he was finally fed up with me disrespecting him as a man, with me doing things that, he was just too whooped to handle me for. So the prospect of me going back to him groveling, for me to be like, but baby, let's work on this. It's like I would then now be begging him to get his act together, as opposed to giving him an ultimatum. I had the right, I had the upper hand. I had the right to give him an ultimatum because he was wasting our time. Never mind my time, but our time. He was taking away our future that we wanted together. So I was in the position to ultimatum him that do this or else. You got 24 seconds, boy, you better not stop. You got 20. Like I was in a position to sing that LMA song. So I would have been basically a woman that would have been successfully spiritually and psychologically manipulated if I went back and was like, babe, let's talk, but all I wanted to do is just, what's right. All I want is for us to be good. As a couple, I want us to grow. I want us to have a family like we spoke about. I want us to do this and that. Like I would be begging a man to be a man. That is what made me really sick. It made me sick because I was not done with him. I felt like I wasn't done with him. I still loved him, but I wanted him to care. I wanted him to come back. I wanted him to work on himself. I wanted him to continue to be motivated by me. But now I had that even taken away from me. I had even that taken away from me. So if I could not, I was going to lose my power if I went back. He was going to prosper to do whatever he wanted while I just had to swallow it. I would have been a very miserable woman that has settled for a man that she can no longer complain against. He would have handled me even though I needed no handling. He would have been the one that needed to grow. So it was, of course, unacceptable for me to go out like that. But I was trapped, remember? I was stranded with his witchcraft. I was kept in the situation. Jumping Jack had held me with sorcery. So, try leave a man that has put a love spell on you or don't go out on me spell on you and whatnot. It's like trying to separate two sellotapes that are stuck together. You will not move on without having a piece of you broken, because that's what sorcery does. It holds you hostage to a person. It gives you Stockholm syndrome. Like your hostage taker becomes someone that you favor highly. So I had Stockholm syndrome. I wanted to be with a man that I actually didn't want to be with. I wanted him to get his act together, but he wanted me to beg him for us to come back together so that he does not have to work hard for us. And that frustration made me sick. Like I literally got sick Like, I went temporarily crazy. I was like I was held hostage by demons. I was kept in a relationship by a man, spiritually, struggled to get out. But he didn't want me. At least he was acting like he didn't. He didn't want me. And I couldn't leave him. So I went sick. I got physically sick. And one day, I remember it was a Monday morning. I got out of bed. I was so heavy. It's like I was stuck to the bed with bubble gum. The weight was so difficult for me to lift my body out of bed. I had been pining all weekend long. And now I had to go to work. It was Monday. Goodness, I couldn't skip work. I was an independent diver. Who was going to pay my rent? Can't lose my job. And as heavy as I was, I got in the shower. I opened the shower water. And I was so broken. I was so devastated that I couldn't even stand up straight in the shower. So I just like got down and cried. And the water got cold on my body. I was late that morning for work. And I thought just like came into my mind, as desperate as I felt right there. I was not about to go and grovel and beg at a man that was wrong. But I felt held hostage by him. I was kept in that situation somehow. So I remembered that I was busy thinking about God. So I cried on the shower floor with my water getting all lukewarm. And I was like, God, help me. I literally cried, God, help me. And I meant it from the bottom of my heart. I wanted freedom. And if I tell you guys, it was instant. I was relieved instantly. Instantly. I said, God, help me. And as soon as I cried that out, sobbing on the shower floor, I felt something get off me, like fly off me, removed, same time. And I was like, and I got up, I showered with my lukewarm water, wore my outfit, went to work, got ready, all that jazz. And I was so light on my feet, it's like I was bouncing on the floor. I was cool with colleagues. Hey, how are you? Morning? Great. I feel good. I didn't know that I was born again. I had no clue that I had just been born again. I didn't know that I just got saved. I didn't know that that's like, I only found out about 2-3 months later that that's the day that I got born again. Because from that day, I started being very hungry for the word of God. I started investigating the things of God. I started going to church. I started, like, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff of that nature. I started doing a lot of spiritual activity. I tried to carry on with my lifestyle, my worldly lifestyle with partying and clubbing and whatnot. Like I was, trying to be like use Christ as a badge, an accessory or whatever. So my friends, like I was like this lifestyle diva. So I was like, girls, let's do like, drinks. Let's do this. I was like a newly single woman. And I had girls and we're gonna have fun. Hello girls. My friends and I, like, they were used to me always being with my boyfriend. Like whenever we would all go out, I was always with him. Like they could never catch a break. They could never catch me alone. Like I was always with this guy. Like, yeah. And for the first time in like 5 years, it was girls who wanna have fun. And I was happy to go where they were going, just as girls, no boyfriends and shit. I was no longer with like a tail that was always around me. I was no longer following a dude behind him, always going everywhere with a guy. Yeah, I was newly single, and this time my singlehood lingered. It lingered like for more than a month, more than 2 months, more than 3 months. Like for the first time I was able to like not be too barren and broken by the fact that my ex-boyfriend is not back. Like I told you, we could not stay separated from each other for more than a week. I was able to do 2 weeks, 3, a month, 2 months, 3. I was, yeah. And in this time, I tried to stay with my worldly lifestyle, using Christ as just an accessory. I was going to church every Sunday. I was reading the Bible a lot. I was attending Bible study cell groups on like weekdays, Wednesdays, and what have you. What is going on with my hair? Yeah, I was doing all of that. Right, like pretty much spiritual activity. I was involved in Christian activity, but I was still partying. I was still like in the club and whatnot. My hair is like not doing what I wanted to do. I was still in the club, like, and all that jazz, but I wasn't happy in the club. Like I was one foot in the world, one foot in Christ. And when I was in worldly pursuits, I was uncomfortable. I was convicted. I told you guys that club started feeling uncomfortable, dark. There was one time when I went to a club, for instance, and the next morning when I woke up, I felt hungover, even though I didn't drink. I stopped drinking some years ago, even before I came to Christ. And yet I felt hungover. It's like demons had made me spiritually drunk that were in the club. And that's when I was like, what's up with the club? Why is it like that? I would like go to church on Sunday feeling hungover, even though the night before I didn't have any alcohol at all, even though I was partying. So I slowly but surely stopped with the partying and whatnot. And as I continued to like study the scriptures and grow, I completely cut off like a worldly lifestyle, like entirely. I was now full on Christian, and I was doing full on Christian things. And my friends like started like things started going awry. Like, you know, I started out, girls, we want to have fun, and then girls started like ignoring me, pulling stunts, speaking down on me, like. Persecution low key started like they like, yeah, you know, I started talking about the Lord. I was excited about the Lord, and they were like, yo, what's happening with Karabo, like type thing. Yeah, so that was just like the beginning of my persecution, really. I didn't know that would get to this point. But those girls with whom I was having fun were used, in all fairness, by God to really truly help me stop thinking about my boyfriend, because I really went on a full like friend binge. I went on a friend binge after my ex and I broke up. I hung out a lot with my girlfriends. Every weekend, even in the weekday, I was like, you know, sipping a drink or two with some friends, virgin drinks, because remember, I didn't drink alcohol anymore. We were always on the phone. I was like, recreational activities, you know, with friends. I was like, this weekend we should try and go to the zoo, da da da. Like, I was being such a friend girl. And that friend season that lasted about 3-4 months helped me successfully wean off my ex. The ex of which, within that 3-4 months, didn't bego. No, I don't know bego. No call me nothing. No, didn't even try. Like, he was like, she's gone. I don't care. Aha. Well, I was gone. He didn't care. But I was gone, and I also didn't care. That's what mattered. What mattered was that I was also genuinely done. So I thought that we had maturely broken up. I thought that like he was cool and I was cool, I was content, but I found out that he was actually still on a strategy. I got bombarded by dreams, nightmares. I'm not gonna give you the full story. Like, he tried to come back a year. Like, it took him a year to beg. It took him a year to come back, but by the time that year had progressed, fire! When I opened my mouth for Jesus, I was like, hey, like, he came back after a year. I started writing in my blog. Oh, mind you, because of my girls who want to have fun unseason, and I was like mature now because of how badly we broke up, and we were not that kind of couple to break up that badly. I was the one that called a meeting for us to have closure. I did. I called a meeting for us to have closure, and in that meeting, I bought him Christian literature. I gave him the gospel. I bought his family literature to say, you know, like, au revoir, like, kindly, like, nicely goodbye, family. It was nice. Thank you for hosting me for 5 years, but I'm moving on now. I did everything very maturely with him. And I think it was that meeting where I cordially, like, just was like, guy, we broke up horribly, so it would be great that if things are not like this, I was a Christian now, so, like, I'm all forgiving and what have you. And that for him was like, you're not reacting the way you're supposed to. And that's when he started to lambaste me with, like, some ridiculous witchcraft. So when I say my ex-boyfriend, I really have come to a place where I hate him now. It's only because not only did he hurt me, that's how we broke up, but even a couple of months after we broke up, I decided to clear the air by organizing a cordial meeting where it is that a couple that was together for that long should not hate each other, and when they see each other on the street, basically pela each other. I did the cordial not breakup, but the meeting where we were getting closure and we're not at odds, that if we see each other in public we greet and we are nice, you know, because we have mutual friends still, common friends still, and if at all we were to see each other in public settings, we're not going to be awkward, all right? And if it was not for that meeting, things would have been really awkward between us, because there was indeed a funeral of a dad of one of our friends that both of us were at, and because of that meeting that I organized with him, we were able to be like, hey, how are you, Jumbo Jack? And he was like, hey, Karabo, I'm good, like, yeah, and we hugged. Otherwise, it would have been one of those, he's here, when's Lana? And then the guy would have been like, dog, he's my friend too, so, like, my dad is gone, like, please, can we just, like, you know, be mature here? Yeah, if it was not for me, we would have had some funny little thing at that funeral. So basically, I am severely victimized right now by a man whose satanic strategy did not work. I am severely abused by a man whose satanic strategy did not work, and to this day, it is still following me around. That is how it is that God broke me up with this guy. Remember, I said the prayer. I was like, Father, if this is it, I didn't even say Father, I said God, if this guy is the one, if Jumbo Jack is my future husband, if he's, you know, please give me a sign, show me. And what did he do? His mama's the one that called me, and then he went on right ahead to employ the strategy of Jojo on me. But the strategy of Jojo did not work, because Christ, Jesus, because the difference between me and Joe Jess was Christ. I was investigating the things of God. He pulled a stunt on me, made me desperate like Joe Jess for him to come back, but the prospect of me begging him, I didn't understand, because no, he was the wrong one. I would end up being a slave to a dude that doesn't want to get his act together. And sitting on that, I finally cried out to Jesus, and he delivered me from the witchcraft of Jumbo Jack. The witchcraft that is keep women in my life, not bring back lost lover, but let lover not leave. Like, she must never leave me. Like, witchcraft that keeps you in a woman in a relationship or a man. Those demons, I believe, are what were wrenched off me in the shower when I said, God help me. Literally, it happened like that. It happened instantaneously to a point where I felt the relief. So basically, what confirmation I got that day in the shower was that if this dude had not put that kind of witchcraft on me, the first time I broke up with him, I would have gone. I would have left him. I would not have missed him. I wouldn't have looked back. But I kept going back because of the witchcraft. As soon as Jesus removed the stuff off my chest, I was able to have a good day at work, point of being fresh to colleagues and something, hey, how you doing? I was literally walking on sunshine, oh, that day at work, like, just like that. I was filled by the Holy Spirit. Same time, I was removed from demons that were sitting on me as a result of somebody else's witchcraft, instantly freed, and was able to be single, period, going forward. Friends became my new comfort, and they helped me get weaned off my roster, my schedule, that was basically the one that I had with him for 5 years. So I told you that whole long story just to get to this point. Every guy within Christianity that I have ever considered for a prospect to court me, potentially ending up in marriage, has pulled a JoJo on me and has tried to make out of me a JoJess. They have done exactly what my ex did, but in record time. It's like the express stunt of my ex. My ex was humbled. He was a dude that I found me rather, when he was kind of lowly, but I took him because I loved him and I loved how he loved me. And he was humble enough to allow himself to be trained, to be groomed, and to understand that he needs to grow. He can't just stay stagnated in the same position that he's at. And I had that running for like 4.5 years. And in the last couple of months of our relationship, he then made a decision that he's sick and tired of having me come at him down his throat, trying to get him to change. It was not even so much trying to get him to change as it was trying to get him to grow. I was happy with his personality and how he was. I just felt like he was like a baby. He needed to grow into a man. I didn't want him to change. I wanted him to grow. There's a difference, guys. Like, sometimes men don't understand. Like, I did not want him to change. If I wanted him to change, I wouldn't have been with him. I wanted him to be a bigger version and a better one of the existing state that he was in. I just wanted the best for him. That's it. But he wanted to stay a baby, a toddler. So what am I going to do? I don't want to be a boy's mama and then a boy's grandmama. I didn't want to do that. Every one of these guys, because I'm so big on second and third and fifth chances, and because I believe the Lord can do excellent things through a woman in a man's life, we are helper suitables. So basically we help men become the best versions of themselves. It is written of Proverbs 31, that woman, that her husband has full confidence in her. He is honored at the city gates because of her. She is the wind beneath his wings. It is written that a great woman in a man's life is like a crown on his head. So we help men become bigger, better versions of themselves. We don't change them. We just make them better versions of the existing thing. Like, you know those Chinese babushka dolls that you remove the one and then there's a smaller one underneath and a smaller one underneath and a smaller one underneath. When a woman comes into a man's life, like, if she is the right and perfect Papa Rib, you know, the Eve to this Adam, he starts out as a babushka doll, the tiniest one. And this woman just keeps on adding another doll as the years progress, another doll, another, until he is the full version of the exact same thing. We are not asking for the person to be another human altogether. That then is uncomfortable and unfair. Like, let him go be with somebody that's happy to be with a dude with those character traits. We are not asking a person, it's like expecting a person to grow in fruit. Even the Bible says that you will be pruned and grow in fruit. So if you are loving, you will grow more loving. If you are patient, you'll be more patient. If you're generous, you'll be more generous. If you are serving, you'll be more serving. We are not asking you to become a black man when yesterday you were white. That's unreasonable. Can't change that. Just grow what you already have. It's like the seeds have already been planted. So when a man refuses, therefore, to groom and chisel away that which he already has dwelling richly inside him, he's just stubborn. Women are supposed to rock up in men's lives to help them not so much change, but become bigger, better versions of themselves. They are to add one extra babushka doll on top of the man until he reaches his full size, even though he started out a smaller version. And that's what I wanted to do with my ex. And every guy that I have met in Christ since coming into the faith that I have considered, and really I've only ever considered guys that are talking about Jesus. Like, I'm not trying to talk to a guy that doesn't even know who Christ is and thinks that I can reach him for Christ. I'm talking about dudes that I found working in the kingdom, but they were small versions of themselves. I have never, if they developed any interest in me, I have never turned them back because you're not yet big, chunky missionary guy that's going to come and rescue me from the futility of this world's worldliness. I've always been like, you're like Jonah, you just need to preach in Nineveh. Or you're like Moses, you just don't know that your stutter's going to be fixed, or that you're going to free the people of God. You're like Joseph, you're just in prison right now in Egypt, but one day you're going to be the prime minister of Egypt. I look at them and I'm like, the Lord always starts them out somewhere. You're like David, a shepherd boy that one day becomes the king of Israel. And I understand and recognize the importance of women in getting men from the state of David being a shepherd to being a king. I recognize the status. Think about how David was groomed to being a better man. It was in the mistakes that he made with women, alongside also the good choices that he made with women. First wife that he ever took was Michelle, bane of his existence, that Saul woman. But then who gave David wisdom once upon a time when he almost killed an entire community of men? A woman, Abigail. The Bathsheba mistake made him a bigger, better man. He was persecuted by Absalom as a result of it, and so he learned his lesson. Women have often played very important roles. Look at Ruth at the threshing floor with Boaz. Look at Esther with Xerxes. She created temperance in a man that usually just chops off the heads of people that rock up and speak in his presence, and he decided to rescue all of the Hebrews. A Persian prince, so he was not even a godly man. A Persian king went and rescued the Hebrew slaves, the Hebrews in the land of Persia, from certain death. He gave them the right to fight for themselves, and nobody's going to come at them if at all they do fight for themselves, and so they won that war. Purim was because of Esther. Like when godly women come into the lives of men, they make them more reasonable, more temperate, they become wiser, they make better decisions, and they grow into kings if at all their name is David. But bad women can wreak havoc in the lives of men similarly too. Look at what Delilah did in the life of Samson. Look at what all of those millions of wives, well, hundreds of thousands, 700 exactly, that Solomon married. They caused Solomon to win some battles at the end of his life because he was weakened by allowing the Ashereth poles that were set up by his like idol worshipping many wives type setup thing. Like a woman can make or break a man's entire destiny and future. She can chisel him and grow him and box him to becoming something mammoth, or she can just crush him. A bad woman, it's written in God's word, can also be rottenness in the bones of a man, but a great one is a crown of glory on his head. So I'm not a controlling megalomaniacal woman in and of myself, trying by force to get a man to be who it is that he's not. No, I have a thing about noticing potential, but I've been made so exhausted by guys that are just refuse, wow, dude, it's for your own good. Like, you're lazy, get up, walk, run. Like, you cannot, as a teenager, be crawling. Still, how in the world are you ever gonna get to run or gallop around on horseback with men when you are presently struggling to just walk? Walk. I am not trying to change who you are. I am recognizing of the potential that you have to be somebody bigger. And I have a job as a woman to be a helper suitable to a man. And if I can't fulfill that purpose, I'm useless as a wife. I'm useless. And the sad thing about black men is they want women that are just going to be complacent and content with them where they find them where they're at. And they also don't appreciate those women that, even though they find them lowly, are happy to put in the time to do their job, basically, as helper suitables to get these men from point A to point Z. So they appreciate women that are happy to be with them even when they're really lowly because they can see where they're going to get, but then they get upset when these women are trying to get them there. Or they want ready-made women, not ready-made women, they want women who find them ready-made. They've already kind of grown, they're chunky, but these women are shallow, they're fluffy, they have not built character. They indeed rejected them during the time when they were struggling, like the woman that Jumbo Jack first wanted to be with before he met me. But she was like, you don't have money. And then he ended up married to that very same woman once he prospered to find his strength. And now he's likely challenged with character flaws in a woman that's not happy to put in the time, her own job that God has given her to be a helper suitable to a man. She wanted to rock up and find a dude that she didn't have to help. So swing on a hammock like a lazy wife that just rocks up, marries a millionaire so she can get a manicure and a pedicure did, so her hair can get did, but she actually does nothing but provide conjugal rights to a man. All she does is give him maybe really good sex, but in terms of ubufazi, and the admonition of the Lord, and raising kids in the admonition of the Lord, that's what that means. What is this? Being a helper suitable to a man, helping him grow from strength to strength, being the wind beneath his wings, helping him understand the business deal that he's getting into is likely going to get him hurt something bad. If a man does not want that kind of woman, if he wants a woman like a woman must not talk. Booty. Yo, guys, I'm smart, but I'm so intelligent, I'm so gifted. I cannot be with a dude that doesn't want a woman that is full of advice. I cannot be with a dude that doesn't want a woman that can actually give some really good advice, that can work. I am too smart, I'm too gifted, I've got too much going for myself to just be quiet and just have my man take me on shopping sprees. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie, well, I'm wrapped in plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair and dress me everywhere. I can't be that. So I cannot therefore be with a dude that doesn't have the humility to recognize that he can be groomed from being a shepherd boy to a king. So because I've always been happy prepared to be with guys that are not where they're at just yet. Even if people will go and give me smack about how it is that this dude is not in your league. Because I've always been prepared to be that girl, basically because I'm happy to work to be a helper suitable to get a man from point A to Z. I cannot be with an unteachable guy. And I have been sadly lambasted, struck like no man's business with arrows from here to Timbuktu by guys who start out because they have such strong feelings for me, willing to put in the work, and then somewhere along the way they get annoyed with how pushy I am. They call me pushy, but it's not being pushy. It's them being lazy. Like, if you don't pull your weight, you're going to hate the girl that's always studying, getting A's in school. You're going to call them a teacher's pet. But if you are also a really strong student, you're going to consider them healthy competition. So, if a man does not see me as something healthy that enables him to grow at a level that's going to challenge him, move from like 10 kilometers overweight in the gym to 15. If a man is not prepared to put that in, then they get frustrated with me. Who can see that they can lift 15 kilograms even though they're currently lifting 10 at the gym. And that push they imagine as being bossy, controlling, megalomaniacal, when rather I'm doing my job that God gave me to be a helper suitable, to recognize a man's potential, to help him build muscles. When you build muscle, you are not getting a new arm. When you get biceps and triceps, you are just building on the existing arm. I'm not trying to change a personality. I am trying to grow an existing ecosystem. But stubborn men don't get that. And because they're lazy, because they're lethargic, because they don't want to work and pull their girth, they then get frustrated by women that try to push them to that place, and then they do to them what it is that my ex did to me. When I leave, you then let me go, and then you act like you don't need me, and then you act like whatever, like throw at me, what do you call this thing? Paperwork to remove me as a partner from your company, and then just let me to languish and grovel, and then you expect me also to come back and beg you because I still have feelings for you. They've done that to me, like all of them. Start out alright. They all start out, it's like my ex's witchcraft is following me. And I have a theory. If a man capitulates to my ex's witchcraft, he's not really saved. Or he is not really prayerful. He's not seeking God's face. If Freddy Krueger still gives him nightmares on Elm Street, then he has not been delivered from darkness. Because God's servants should be able to resist the devil. God's servants should be able to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all that power of the enemy. My ex's witchcraft will always operate in any man that tries to pursue me because he does not want me to be loved. After we broke up, he puts the kind of witchcraft on me that he went and fished against me in trying to make me Joe Jess. So basically, I am supposed to end up a Joe Jess, a woman that settles for a weak man that won't grow, or that ends up single. And I'm still single 11 years later because I will not be Joe Jess. Meaning then that I guess you get to be single. You get to be alone. That's what is following me. And I have always gone to God and cried about that on some God, don't let them come into my life then if they're going to break me by being stubborn, and then they let them go. They let me walk away and they keep coming back. And the sad thing about them continuing to come back is that when I eventually get over them, they get left stranded and broken and hurt, and then they end up resenting me. They end up hating me to a point of wanting me dead. They end up so at enmity with me that the love that they once had for me at first becomes hatred. I become like Tamar to Amnon. They hate that I move on, just like my ex went from loving me to hating me to a point of wanting me dead. He got upset at me, very angry, even though I was the cordial one that organized that meeting for us to, what is the word that I'm looking for, get closure. I was the one that tried to come back after our bad breakup and have a cordial separation. And after doing that, he made himself afterwards the worst man I've ever been with. Pursued me with so much horrible witchcraft. He came against my family. He came against my friends. He came against my career. Like my ex, like what he did to me. Like, I am alive today only because I have the Holy Spirit, but I promise you this here is attempted murder. He hasn't fetched an actual death curse on me, but this, what he did to my life, he might as well have just like dug a grave and threw me into it. No career, no love, no one will cater to her. Literally everyone in my family treats me like trash because of that man. That's what he did to me. He got so angry that I did not respond to his witchcraft that he was like, let her die then. So every man predictably walks in that curse. They meet me, I fall like a thud in love or whatever with them. I realize that they refuse to grow. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be Joe Jess. I'm not going to go back to a dude that has used some kind of psychological manipulation to get to me. And then they're like, fine, go. They let me go. Literally, they let me slide. But then when I don't react in accordance to their strategy, when I don't come back, but I rather break through, I go and girls just want to have fun. I move on. They look from a distance on something. She's not supposed to be reacting this way. They get angry, they gnash their teeth, and they become enemies of mine. And this has happened even to Christian men, or at least men that professed Jesus. There's 6 of them that I have, one I dated, The other 5 or so, was it 6, were prospects that I rebuffed very quickly early on so that I don't get hurt. And they all became such heavy, cruel enemies of mine that they broke me in ways that were obvious. They were trying to make me regret walking away from them. I always move on from them to a point of even forgetting to mention their names or that they ever came around. But they stay bitter pretty much, period, for the rest of their existences. They end up in some kind of obscurity. They end up meeting women that don't add up. They always compare them to me. And when then they can't find one that is sufficiently like me, they get angry all over again, even though I've moved on. But I become hated by men I wanted to love, but that did not want to love God enough to love me. And they all call themselves Christian. That is what predictably happens, and I am so wary of encountering this that I'm even scared not to give anybody a chance anymore. I'm scared because I don't want to have to go through the pain of wanting to love someone, realizing it can't work, and then the pain of also watching them become really bitter to a point of hating me, even though it was supposed to be a big fat chunky romance, and I was supposed to be the Eve to the Adam, the rib. I was supposed to be the crown on his head. I was supposed to be the helper suitable, but he's the one that refused to grow, and I will not grovel. God is the one that always rescues me. That in the same way that in the shower that after that morning, he freed me all of a sudden, like that, overnight, from demons that were chilling on my chest. And I always get freed that way. It takes me no more than 1 month to finally, it's like they don't even exist. It's like I never even met them. I move on that quickly. And when I do, I always want what is better for them. I pray for them. But they never recover. They get angry, they get bitter, and basically threaten their own souls in so doing. Because they play games with me. So when I say I can't stand my ex, I really don't like him, it is because I recognize the trend of his witchcraft in operation every time I try to give a guy a chance. They are exactly like my ex. He started out humble and happy to grow. I was therefore patient and I waited for him. But somewhere along the way, he got annoyed with what he called my pushy ways. And then he let me leave. And when I didn't come back predictably as he expected, he got embittered and bewitched the living daylights out of me, hated me, resented me, and then tried to use another woman to make me jealous. Literally, they try to boast with other women flying right in front of my nose to make me envious. And these women never add up. They are like, literally, many women have done excellently, but she surpasses them all. The Lord will never ever give a godly, really great wife to a man that walked past across the path of a godly woman and treated her like trash. He will never let this guy encounter another one again. This at last is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. They can forget about ever saying that. They can also forget about finding favor from the Lord, because if you break a daughter of God, he's not going to give you another one to break. So these men literally never meet another godly woman again, and it frustrates them because the women that they met, that they hurt, that God gave them a chance to grow through, they broke. And so having absolutely no comparable female that comes in the future, they then go out of their way to try and make a godly woman that is going through a little bit of a difficult time jealous, using an evil woman. Like my ex-boyfriend tried to make me jealous with a gold digger that rejected him before we came together, now that he's married her, trying to make me look like I was a placeholder. And I was like, that woman was so shallow that she couldn't be with you even though she loved you because you didn't have money. And now that you have made it, she's with you. What do you have there exactly? She's going to leave you for another guy if at all he waves in her eyes 10,000 rands more than what you can give her. You literally lost a ride or die woman and you married a gold digger, and you are trying to flail a gold digger in my nose and make me jealous. Only reason why he is able even to flaunt this gold digger in my nose is because of the level of obscurity and squalor that I'm in, which brings me to the next point. What I'm struggling with in life gets used as a weapon against me by these men. So I'm currently going through a lot of persecution. I'm ignored, I'm disregarded, everybody treats me like trash, and these men give themselves consolation after losing me, that nobody loves her anyway, and she's going to be stuck in that position and stranded indefinitely in that position forever. So they are able to wave horrendous women in my nose that don't compare, because God will never give them a godly woman ever again. They wave them in front of my nose and pamper them in front of my nose, hoping that because I'm suffering the way that I am, I'm going to start thinking things like, I wish I hadn't let that go. Look, that would be me now. Look, he would have put me in that house now. Look, he would have catered to me now in that way. But now another woman is with him. I'm godly. I'm a great find. I'm rare. He who finds me finds a good thing. I do not envy worldly women because they cannot do their jobs in the lives of men. They frustrate men. They are like rottenness in their bones. They cantankerous. They're like dripping taps that keep on dripping on a rainy day. They make men want to live on the corner of a roof on a desert. They are harlotrous. They struggle to stay in their houses. They like Delilah. They seduce men, following which they hand them over to be arrested, have their eyes gouged out. They stab men in the back. They cheat on them in marriages. Like literally, ungodly women cannot be trusted. They can't. They can't. So you flail them for all of 5 seconds when you're busy pampering them in front of my nose, and then you later get frustrated with them. I can never envy ungodly women because they can never truly, truly make men happy. They never can. So men are basically lazy then to work in order to earn the love of godly women. And when then godly women decide that I can't do this because it does not look like Christ's love for the church, they get embittered, and they're the ones that then end up having to spend the rest of their lives going from pillar to post, from woman to woman, trying to find karabo in every random, like, lackluster woman of folly here on these streets. The Lord is not going to give a godly wife to a man that messed up with another godly woman. So if you have been given a shot with karabo and you mess it up, understand God is not going to waste another woman's time with you. So I have rescued godly girls from all of those 6 men that decided to do that to me. They will never literally find the equivalent of what it is that they found in me ever again, purely because God is in the business of protecting his daughters from that level of insanity. So why then has the Lord allowed number 6 and number 7 and number 10 of these random guys to continue to come into my life and hurt me, even though I've asked him to not let another one come through? It is indeed precisely that I might function as a protector of other women that this man or these men might one day in the future meet. These men have to make that mistake with one godly woman so that they will never be given a chance with other godly women, that they might not have an excuse and say that, God, I am fornicating right now because you're not bringing godly women enough around my life. I am getting divorced right now because you're not bringing you didn't bring a godly wife into my life. They will not get to look back and be like, but God, I asked you for a godly wife and you didn't bring one. I am basically rescuing godly girls from that guy. Who knows? How many of these men I likely have been rescued from by other godly girls that have had to be encountered with other men who failed that aptitude test. My ex-boyfriend is a haunting. He's a haunting. Because every man walks in that exact predictable fashion. How he lost me is exactly how they all keep losing me. They all keep losing me thinking I'm coming back, and I never do. I never do. How he lost me is exactly, like, it's eerily similar. That's why I compare it to Nightmare on Elm Street. He's like Freddy Krueger. They all make the same mistake. I'm exhausted, and I'm hoping that I've gone through it for the last time. I really do. I'm exhausted. If a man does not want to be groomed by God in order to be right for a woman, then you don't get to be bitter, little man, when you can no longer find a godly woman anywhere in your path, and you are dry, and the desert is about you, beating you with all different kinds of sand. You put yourself in that position. You don't get to play reverse psychology mind games on a Christian woman. Today, I didn't even want to talk about this the way I am so upset. But I just have, I keep on having to. Because I guess the Lord cares for some people. But in and of myself personally, I am exhausted from having to meet Freddy Krueger over and over and over again, losing sleep. Because, again, literally again, I've got all up in my grill. I had a nightmare just some nights ago where I was sitting around in a house with, and I didn't want him, but my heart was very strong for him, and I was tempted to take him back into my life, and I was like, I could never ever let oh goodness, I'll have to cut this out. I used my ex's actual name. I'm gonna have to find my bearings to chop his name out and bleep it out. I forgot to say Jumbo Jack or whatever, but like, yeah, Jumbo Jack. I had a dream about my ex, about Jumbo Jack, where he was in the house and he was around me, and he was just basically waiting for me to get back together with him. He wanted me to come back together with him, but he wasn't actually talking to me or asking me to do it. He wanted me to just naturally gravitate back to him. I had this dream 5 or 6 days ago. I woke up from it and I was like, Lord, what is this? Like, why did I get that dream? And now I know why. Because the spirit of that fool is in operation in my life again, and I'm not going to fall for it this time. I'm not going to humor it this time. Literally, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I don't know what I need to do to not have to meet with this problem again. It's like I just keep getting lambasted with it. Perhaps I give too many chances. Perhaps I should indeed expect a guy to rock up already perfect. But that might potentially mean that I'll end up single because they don't exist. I don't know what to do. But I am weary of having my heart break and me languish only for me to recover after a month. That season of languishing is so taxing that I don't want to go through it. So I'm doing this work, this long piece. I am doing it so that next time I meet a man and I am considering him, I'm literally going to give him this video to listen to from start to finish And then only once he has listened to it, he can decide if he wants to continue pursuing me or just back off. Like my little aptitude test, this thing of taking out a piece of paper and checklist, and then interviewing and then realizing that I can't, no, this is another big issue. I can't. It's too taxing. It's emotional because then your heart already falls. Your emotions are already involved in it. And to recover from that is just very heartbreaking. It's taxing. It takes time. It takes time. Healing takes time. I will never ever capitulate in the same way that I never did with my ex. And I mean, back then I wasn't saved. And then I got saved because I begged God for help. How much more will I survive it then now that I am saved? So I am doing this very lengthy video that I'm going to upload and I put on YouTube and Facebook. And in the future, when I do meet my husband, before we even start to talk, I will make him listen to this. Do you want to pursue me? You like me. You have feelings. You've got some feelings. I like you. You're kind of cute. I like the way you do your hair. I like your beard. So because I like your beard, and because I kind of like how you talk to me, because you're kind of godly, because I appreciate things about you, because my heart skips a beat when you walk in the room, because I have got sparks flying and butterflies in my tummy when I see you, I realize I'm a little bit of danger of falling in love. So since I don't want to go all the way and fall splat on the ground and break my teeth, listen to this lengthy video, dude, and decide if you still want to be with me. If then you are a little bit taxed by how demanding I am, walk away so that God will not judge you for breaking. A persecuted saint, a Christian woman, a daughter that just wanted to do her job as a helper suitable, but you were too lazy to accept the challenge. I hope you've been edified in the name of Christ. I spoke for entirely too long, but I just had to get this done. I'm signing out in Christ's name. Peace.